at that distance, though, it's not a shoe-in, is it? It's very similar to where Josh Rochelle was. So when he goes back and kicks, he's going to have to let fly from about 49. We'll test him a little bit. There's a fraction of breeze going into his face, but not an easy kick.
He does normally nail them when they're tough. On the run from the boundary, this in some ways as easy a shot as he ever gets. So his set shot history, this spot all grounds. Like shell and peas for Isaac Rankin.
It's a dominant start by Adelaide, 23 disposals to 10, and 4 inside 50s to nothing on 3 scores once they've gone in as well. So good start for them after a terrible week last week. You can tell straight from the start they were off against the Dockers. They don't look like they're off today. Carlton will just need to get on top early before Adelaide. Got a few goals on the board, but great start for the Crows.
So it's 4 times the Blues got an opportunity to get the ball out of their defensive half. They've turned it over 4 times in a row. You can see from behind the goals vision, literally no one playing on Isaac Rankin. It's danger.
2 captains side by side for the ball up. Jordan Dawson, Patrick Cripps. Tom De Koning's been in sensational form. He passed this down to Dawson, who was almost held without it. Cripps back to De Koning, wide ball. Worrell, ugly bounce. White couldn't get on the end of it. Worrell does. Miller goes back. Saligo on the back pedal as well. Back to Miller, and back to the boundary line, and maybe too wide for Keys. Well, Keys delayed the give back. Might have been 52 years ago, that one. Elijah Hollands. 25 positions against the Cats last week. He was in fantastic form. Harry was too. Cripps, he shook him, and then he kicked it across the face. Only A behind. Elijah Hollands, 25 possessions against Geelong last week. One of his best ever games, but he didn't even get a coach's vote. 5 other Blues got a coach's vote last week. Not Elijah.
They did play pretty good, didn't they? Oh, very good. Real confidence booster.
Going down, and Cripps gets a second go at it and doesn't blow 2 of them. He kicks this one.
Well, it was far too easy in the end. Just looking at Cripps' numbers after that initial stab, he's just kicked the 5 goals for the year, so slightly down on what he was doing last year. But by saying that, his numbers and stats are off the charts. We've still got one of the best inside midfielders in the comp. That's Isaac Rankin, just giving him a metre of space. And then he's not able to close that space. So just in front of the ruckman here, good position, no body contact at all. Patrick Cripps says, thank you very much. I'll take that metre and put 6 on the board as a result.
You can't have Patrick Cripps, the dual Brownlow medalist, basically on his own at a forward 50 stoppage. That's not good enough by the Adelaide midfield, and Paddy Cripps just took full advantage of it. Basically had 2 shots on goal in a minute there and made it pay on the second one.
He had 29 possessions in that game against Geelong last week, dominated. He also had 8 clearances and 9 tackles. It was a brilliant all-round game. Motlop, well, he threw that away. They didn't hold the ball. Advantage is paid, so they play on Neil Bullen. O'Brien really kicks one, hands it off. Fogarty on the move. Put her in the book. He never misses.
Riley O'Brien, the handball, running through the middle. Could have got 100 to 1 about Riley O'Brien being in that sort of chain before the game, but that's good confidence booster there, and a good confidence booster for Darcy Fogarty. Let's have a look at how it all played out. It was a bit of a funny old tap. Could have been too high there. Payne holding the ball. They decided to play on. Bit of a handball chain through there. Riley O'Brien just keeps going. And the fault, bang.
Well, we go back to Sean Burgoyne's question at the start of the game. Offense or defense? I'm taking offense right now. Every time I see a ruckman break into space, it reminds me of a Harry Madden back in the day for the Blues. And that's just simple work for Fogarty. That's far too easy. Great offense.
Yeah, back in this week after the sternoclavicular, I'm told, is the correct term. From the ball up, Chera
We used to call it a shoulder.
That's right. Long bomb, and that's a great grab by team. Mackay's in good form. And he didn't go to the punch. He backed himself into market.
Makes you nervous,
Yeah,
mate.
it
Keen
does.
if you're an Adelaide supporter.
It's a swim between the flags. Just get it to the next person.
So Brodie Smith back in. First game of the season for Brodie Smith. Looks over the head on your ball. Go get that. But Haynes might. Little fumble. Hands it to Doherty. In turn to Walsh. There's three ex-Greater Western Sydney Giants out there. Nick Haynes playing for the Blues, and of course Peatling and Cumming for Adelaide.
Well,
Just
listen,
Walsh
got a
there.
corky there. I think he got a corky from Dawson. Trying to run it out.
Yeah, he had 30 possessions in that win over Geelong last week as well. He's in good form, Sam Walsh. In fact, 2 weeks ago here, Gather he had 37 possessions on this deck when they smashed the West Coast Eagles and kicked 3 goals. He was a dominant force here. And there's that corky.
So right knee into the right hip flexor. Let's just see how much that impacts him. But he looks like he's getting on top of it already. Tough unit. Had to play with a sore back a fair bit the last few years.
Yeah, spot on. And the scramble, Chera loops it, Walsh gets a touch, goes back. Carroll spears it wide and thumped out of play. Good to have Smith back. The crowd give him a round of applause. He's captained this team before in Sloane's absence a few years ago. Been a great contributor. This is game 263 for Brodie Smith, his first of the year.
Too many AFL footballers have had to not play with a corky for too long. Most of the time you get 1 or 2 a year.
Already through to Adelaide.
We spoke about Hewitt pre-game, and this man is always in rank. It looks like that's the matchup. So Hewitt's had some huge numbers, last 10 games averaging 31. But he's got the matchup of what the coaching staff is the most damaging midfielder from the opposition in Rankin.
Butts, Michael Smith goes back, roll, feeds it on there, Curvis, took on the tackler, put himself free. It's built like a stick, but he's got some pretty good core strength there, Curvis. Not anymore! He moonwalked his way out of that tackle. Can't believe it. Worrell thumps it, gets it to half forward. Young, put on his backside quick. Sard likewise. Pressure's hot. Curtin dragged down the meat and sandwich.
Looks like they've gone up a notch. You're talking about attack v defence. Well, defence was pretty strong there for Adelaide not to be able to get through it, but they were game to try and take them on at the same time. End up with a good job.
Yeah, got it down. Elijah Hollands. High, it'll pay the mark if they take it. The lead gets there and takes it. Now jammed in like sardines on the outer side here. Big crowd expected. There it heads wide. Walker is target. Haynes tried to kill it. Tex.
But that's it, the exact support that the Blues defenders need. They need someone coming over at all times. Speak about the three-headed monster and the challenges they possess. As Michael Voss is working through the numbers, making sure it's all looking right.
4th season as coach for Michael Voss. 9th, 3rd and 8th. His first 3. Oh, what was its way towards Curnow. Just came to it, he found it. Elijah Hollands dumps it long, race on. One lobbles around. Worrell's got some speed. It rolls, it tumbles, it might make it. Great commitment from Worrell. Heart and soul into that.
And he's got a big month, Josh Worrell. That was surprising to see the pace he had on Motlop.
And then muscled his way past. Motlop couldn't even shepherd him out.
Yeah. He's quickly developing a lot of fans in Adelaide, Josh Worrell.
Michael just inside the line, if not on it. Spears it wide, that's a good grab. Was well taken by Taylor. Hand off, quickly, Smith. And they should be out. Saligo goes back. Little poke pass from Curtin. Delightful. Tex turns and goes. Target inside 50. They've got the experience of Neil Bullen this year as well. Some premiership experience in the lineup.
Fantastic ball movement with the speed that challenges the Blues defence, but they're sagging back. You don't need to have 2 or 3 goalkeepers behind the plate. Says, have a look here as Tex Walker gets this mark on centre wing or on the flank.
And 184, Grant Neil Bourne. Hot start for the Crows.
Well, that was some good ball movement there, Nick, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're spot on. And that's the threat that fast ball movement challenges defence, regardless of how good you are. But what I'm referencing here is the numbers behind the football. So you've always got someone. So there's Weir who decides to come up, which is perfectly fine. They'll still have representation behind the football from a defensive perspective. But here's the decision right now from Haynes. He doesn't need to keep coming back. You've got to close that uncontested mark. Because right now you're just retreating. You're not ending up on nobody. And then you ultimately get picked apart in front of 4 Blues while they stand there and watch Neil Bullen mark uncontested.
It was coast to coast, but it was high risk, and Adelaide were good enough to do it. The kick-in was only 30 centimetres from being out in the full. Zach Taylor had to take a good overhead mark. Brodie Smith had to take the game on and hit the target through the middle of the ground, and then Neil Bullen had to finish it off. High risk, high reward.
Almost a 12-point turnaround. The one Carlton almost got, but Worrell stopped, and then the coast-to-coast on the way back goal for Matthew Nix's team. 6th season as coach for Matthew Nix, yet to make finals. 18th, 15th, 14th, 10th and 15th last year. They started this year well. Almost Elijah Hollands couldn't quite pick it up and run. Still thought got a touch on it, gets a second one, gave it to Cumming, gave it to Miller. Caught by Elijah, brilliant tackle. Just hard and tough at the moment. Hard ball to win. Dangerous tackle.
Yeah, anytime you do that sort of second movement and try and push him into the ground, it is now a dangerous tackle.
Akers.
Some of the players just get a bit too excited.
Floats into the pocket. Mackay trying to get his way between bodies.
So we have a look at that free once again. This is where it gets into grey areas. There's nothing wrong with this initial tackle. As we see it play through, I don't see that as a dump. I don't see it as dangerous. That's the direction that both players are facing.
Well, he actually loses his legs on Miller, doesn't he? But
Walsh lands on his shoulder.
Yeah, no head hit the ground, but from where the umpire was, maybe he thought the head did hit the deck. But that's the trouble. You
still
can't
has to
guess.
be an incorrect tackle on top of that, doesn't it?
That looked like high. So free kick to James Pedling. 18 games for the Giants last year, but started the sub in 7 of them. Regular in the first 18 for the Crows as Saligo gets his ear massaged. Fogarty! As the crow flies. It's good to see him in full flight. Dawson. Wide to Thilthorpe, gets up. One grab, not the second.
A great mark by Fogarty. Used his hands a little bit just to get up there. 8-4 the clearances in favour of Carlton here. Off to a good start in that area, Carlton.
O'Brien, full palm, coming. Walsh went to ground. Tackle laid by Dawson on Chera, who got a game of suspension from the MRO, but fought it at the tribunal and won. Able to play today for a similar incident to the one that Mitch Hinge faced as well, but he didn't get so lucky.
Well, they're under the scrutiny, the tribunal.
Elijah Hollands breaks his way clear. It's at the half forward. Good mark. No, Michael only put it down, but used his body pretty well to get into position to mark it.
Over, you look at those clearance numbers, it is the one thing that's in favour of the Blues and possibly keeping him in the game, because everything else is being controlled and dominated by the Crows. You look at this disposal, 67-33, so the Blues simply not getting their hands on the football outside of clearance.
Good battle this in the run. Curtin on the run with that core strength, threw it away. The coning, a floater. Mackay had a piece of it, not enough of it, and that's deliberate. He knocked it straight to the boundary, Keane, and that had to be a free. The Irishman just wasn't quite up with what the modern interpretation is.
Fitch in his own football.
Yes.
Don't see that
I
very
don't
often.
expect the Crows fans to go and get in front of him,
That's Eddie's pocket as well.
even though there was a bit of not-lot magic for Port Adelaide for a while in this state. Jesse, the son of Daniel. And he bends that round perfectly off the boot from the pocket. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's like shelling peas doing those snaps these days for the small forwards. They practice them all the time, and it is a bit harder when you're more than, around 30 metres out. You have to absolutely nail it. Let's have a look at where the free kick drop mark there. And he went through with an open hand. You can't expect that not to be paid, Mark. Let's have a look at from this angle. He just knocks it straight out.
That's a fantastic finish from Motlop. I do enjoy the defenders at all times, regardless of what the decision is. They still plead their case, Wayne.
Yeah.
Team trying to say that wasn't deliberate. That's the definition of it. But the Blues back in it after being dominated in most phases of the game.
O'Brien to Coney. Flick down to Chera. Hanson East Stewart. Forward handball. Put down Square Miller. Handball not to a teammate, though Dawson goes back so they can go forward. Smith. And metres gain was his forte back when he was in full flight a couple of seasons ago. Roddy Smith, he will gain plenty with those slicing 50-metre kicks. So, plenty of Blues fans in the house. You can hear the woof as he gets that kick away. Akers. Hewitt.
Kicked a big goal last week. This might be a bit too far.
Sits it up. Curnow on the march. Couldn't get near it. Ball knocked out. Akers again. He sharked his own ball. Recording in the hole. Slapped through. Behind.
That's a challenge for O'Brien today. Did a really good job then to get a fist through the football and get it over the line. With DeConing going forward, he's going to challenge O'Brien's ability to defend as a genuine defender.
Keane pulled that kick late. Saw Keys. Saw it as well. Rankin was clever. Curtin. The big O moving like the Oriana there. Couldn't quite get there in time.
He didn't quite hit the kick, Curtin. Just come off the inside of the left foot.
Took 6 around the ground marks last week. Riley O'Brien in the game against Fremantle. Returned to a bit of his old form as well. And he wins this against DeConing, who you could argue is the hottest ruck in the comp right now. Carlton free kick because the ball wasn't given back to the umpire. Is that the reason that was given?
That appears to be the case, Dwayne. It's a rare one. I see it sometimes being handed back to a teammate that also...
That's a good grab on Curtin.
It's just those little things from time to time that frustrate coaches. It's in your control. It's one knowing the rules. Just a little bit sloppy.
With Shelley. Brian down the line. He goes wider to Peatling. Saad read the eyes. Knew exactly where he was going. Thumps it out. He celebrated his 200th with a win here. Gather round Adam Saad. And here's the one that... I'm not too sure where Isaac was going with that.
That was silly.
From the flick down. Laird, he spent that before he earned it. And 2 Rucks can do it again. 2 teams with similar premiership droughts. Crows 27 years without a flag, not one since 98. Carlton 30 years without a flag, not one since 95. Carlton with this, they might sneak into the top 8 tonight. Adelaide already in there. And spot in the 8 vulnerable if they can't win this one. Well played. A little sidestep was knocked by Taylor. Now Rochelle. Good spot. Dawson's full forward. And got it.
Well, they'll be disappointed there, Carlton, not to get fist on ball, but Jordan Dawson is probably the best contested mark in the side, and that's saying something when you got Fogarty, Walker and Thilthorpe up front, but When he goes forward, I reckon the danger signs go up for Carlton defenders or opposition defenders in general.
And the captain steadies the ship.
And it's that ball movement once again, Roo.
Yeah, it is quick ball movement, but that had a bit of hang time on it, Dawson. He's usually taking those contested marks up on the wing and surprising him. That was really well done by Riley Philthorpe, just to work his backside off to get there and make sure the ball come to ground. It wasn't an intercept mark, and from there, Adelaide were in the pole position. Wiedering would be furious with that. He's better than that. Just didn't quite get his timing right.
Sligo wasn't through with the option from Rochelle to go long until he realised it was marked by Dawson at the top of the goal square. But it's that speed of ball move once again off half back through the middle of the ground that's causing some grief for the Blues defenders.
Jordan Dawson tried to get back into the square for the bound. Sean Burgoyne downstairs.
Well, we spoke about attacks versus defence, so 26 points is the most that Carlton have conceded in any first quarter this year. So I went with attack at the start of the game, and I'll stick with it.
Adelaide will get the clearance too. Rankin's going to have to go back though with Rochelle taking it.
If he didn't fumble, they might have called play on there, Dwayne, I think.
That's a finger breaker. And Alex Neil-Bullen takes the mark. I'm glad it wasn't Philthorpe on the end of it.
He'll be looking for someone to pass it off here. Carlton should be just keeping a look on anyone running past. We'll test him here from 51.
There's a couple hovering just off to the left and the right.
He looks confident. He's fooled me if he's going to pass it. No, he thumps it. That's out of here. Alarm bell's going off for the Blues right now.
2 for Neil Bullen in the first quarter. He'll be absolutely wrapped with that. He's kicked 6 for the year so far. He's been a great pickup, not just for what he's doing on field, but his leadership off field and experience in just being an AFL footballer is second to none. There was the free kick earlier. Rochelle, haven't seen him do this much centre square work probably in his career. Here's the goal. Here's the celebration. I think he's pretty happy to be back in Adelaide, kicking goals for the Adelaide Crows.
Spot on, Rude's got to appreciate the work rate. That was a bit fortunate that it dropped into his lap. Fantastic finish, and the Crows starting to balance out that clearance differential.
And a local point through to Nell. Now it's Neil-Bullen going to come home. The winning flag with the D's. They are out again here. Rochelle spears it wide. The lead from Tex. Couldn't quite get there to take possession. Young got there ahead of him to Akers. Great smother. Keeping the area. Keys hunts it down and Cripps disguised that well enough, you would think.
Well, that was absolutely identical to Mark Keane, except he just didn't flush it. You have a look at what he tries to do here.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same, he just didn't hit it. So if you don't hit it, what is it, I suppose? It's...
Well, he nearly got it the second time because he didn't hit it the first time. Hewitt caught. Curtin scrambles it. 3-on-3 at the square and Haynes.
That's a good grab.
Yeah, he's been doing that his whole life.
It was a floater.
McGovern in some space. Crows have got the wall set up. Few in it. Michael Lang, they went to ground though. Fogarty. Little 1-2 was nice. Missed Curnow with the pass. Goes back in to try and mop his mess up. Got a Fogarty and a Fogarty out there. Spelled the same. Pronounced different.
I'll leave that one to you for the rest of the day.
Tomato, potato, take your pick. From the ruck contest, Cripps. Balled away by Cumming. Tex again, Young right with him. Ball close to the boundary, Young content to let it go out on his old Sturt boots. The light blue boots back into the lineup this week, Lewis Young. South Australian back home.
To go and buy a pair of boots this morning for one of my kids. They're not getting any cheaper.
Can't believe you're still buying boots. The Mayor of Adelaide's buying boots.
I did get a bit of
Yeah,
discount.
I'm sure you did.
Free.
Reps tried to feed that out. The truth always comes out in the end. Taylor hands it up. Dawson in some space, floats it. There is Young in the third boots.
So that's the 13th inside 50 for the Crows. So that speaks of the field position, the dominance, particularly through the middle of the ground. And of those 13, 5 have resulted in Crows goals. That's a huge concern defensively for the Blues.
Haynes. Young again. Count that as an inside 50 if you like. Doherty. Good to have the Doc back. Been out of the senior team a couple of games, given a freshener. So they've obviously been told to calm it down a little, Carlton. Mackay under this, can't mark it. White with the crumb. Hewitt got on the end of the handball and almost found his target on attacking 50 Durden. Tie up between Cripps and Smith. Two old campaigners. We're watching Cripps this time. Here he goes again off the ruck contest. Breaks it in with his boots. Shearer into open space. Crows plenty of numbers behind the ball though. Michael Lanny thumps it. Takes it 1-on-3. Out of bounds is a win and he wins it out.
That's a huge win, Dwayno. Just that ability to reset the field. Skipper Cripps up to 6 disposals, equal with Young. Have a look at some of the midfield numbers, particularly from the Crows. Probably highlighted by Jordan Dawson, who's had 10. Rochelle's had 8. A lot of it through the midfield, which has been prevalent.
O'Brien will back palm. Cripps another clearance. Elijah Hollins loops it out in the Hewitt direction. It's sat for him. He pokes it top of the square. Big mark for a leg. Huge grab. 27 possessions against Fremantle last week, most for the Crows. Thorpe rises, can't mark it. Well, Cherry, did he throw that away or did the umpire cut him some slack because he had that prior? Neil Bullen flicks it out. Sard, little fumble, but good enough to mop it up. McGovern. Cripps mopped up that little mess at his feet. DeConey. High. Chance for the leap as Mackay got there. Curtin against the grain. Fantastic commitment. Milleray out wide and they can go here. Neil Bullen, they've got open space. Peagling realises it. Needs to be wise. Couple of bounces. Tex wants it inside for the 1-2 handoff. And he thumps it instead. Mongrels it inside 50. And the mark to Carroll.
Yeah, Tex will be a little bit angry there. Peagling just didn't quite make the most of that opportunity. Those forward handballs where you have to twist and turn really make it difficult for the player who receives it to dispose of it. And Tex just kicked it with a hit and hope and ended up hitting a Carlton player on the chest.
Haynes. Down the line, and again they've got the numbers. Smith wants to play on quickly inside. Nice handoff. Miller at Dawson. Walker's getting a lot of. Heads to the pocket. Nicely delivered to Rochelle. If he can get it and go. They're going to go crazy if he kicks this. Not quite.
Well, Blues are flirting with disaster with the way that they're defending. Just continue to sag back and roll back in their defensive 15. Yes, they'll be able to turn the ball over. You've got to move the ball the length of the field to try and score, or at least get some field position. They are refusing to come up and put pressure on the football and find a direct opponent.
So, wanders into the pocket and then launches at 50. Mackay got a couple of beat butts right with him and Payne keeps it alive this time. And then this time it's a little wander out by Jake Sleeker and the umpire says no, you can't do that either. He did take a backward step with Dallin on him, but insufficient intent is in the eye of the beholder if you're an umpire and if you're a fan. Smith. Peagling. Phil Thorpe. Wiedering.
It's going to be a good duel, that one. Wiedering up against the probably the best young forward in the competition, arguably anyway.
Sard launches it to the wing. DeConey came from 5 deep. Mackay nearly marked it. Seconds continue to tick down. I'll be pretty happy with their opening turn. The Adelaide Crows. Fans have packed the Adelaide Oval for this Super Saturday special between two teams. One hunting a spot in the top 8, one inside the top 8. The Crows beginning the round 5th. And they've got a 19-point advantage at quarter time. 5-3-33 to 2-2-14.
G'day everyone. I tell you what a game. Adelaide coming out on a flyer. Of course, goal for goal early, but Adelaide struck back, kicking the final 2 goals of that term, 5-3-33. Carlton, 2-2-14. Well, we have a game, that is for sure. I'm sure Carlton will come back on in. G'day to Tiva's in there. Liam's in the chat, of course. Of course, Tino Bem is there. Addy G will probably turn up somewhere during the game. But there we go. It is Adelaide by 19 points. Let's just duck over and let's have a look and see where these two teams are on the ladder. Of course, Adelaide and Carlton. Let me turn the live ladder off. This is where they sit prior to this game. Adelaide are sitting 6th on the ladder. 4 wins, 3 losses. Adelaide wins this, they'll jump up into 5th position. Quite possibly jump up into 4th position if they win by enough. They're only about 3% behind the Western Bulldogs. And, of course, Carlton down there sitting in 13, sitting on 12 points. I tell you what, this is a do-or-die game. That Carlton need to win this or they're going to be, they're going to be a couple of games out of the 8 at the moment. Just before I go any further, the ins and outs for both teams, didn't get to it. For Adelaide, Jordan Butts, Darcy Fogarty, Sam Berry, Brodie Smith are the ins. Going out, Nick Murray, Sid Draper, Mitchell Hinge, Matt Crouch going out. Sam Berry is the sub. And of course, for Carlton, Sam Doherty coming in with Lewis Young, Lachlan Cowan going out. Jack Silvani, which is a bit of a big loss. He holds the defence up well. Zach Williams, Matty Cottrell, and the sub, Lachlan Cowan. Milestone games, there we go. Oliver Hollands there for Carlton on his 50th game there today. Well done to Oliver. Good stuff. All right, let's just pop on over quickly. Let's have a look at the goal scorers after quarter time. Alex Neil Bullen, there we go, the only multiple goal scorer on the ground, and he is for Adelaide. He's kicked 2. Isaac Ranke with 1. Darcy Fogarty, Jordan Dawson for Carlton, Jesse Motlop, and the superstar Paddy Cripps with the single goal scorers there. Jordan Dawson, the only player on the ground at the moment with in the double figures on disposal count. He's at 11, 5 kicks, 6 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 2 clearances, and a goal. You can't ask more than that in an opening quarter from a player. Jordan Dawson tops the table with 11. Josh Rochelle next best with Wayne Malera on 9. Of course, Paddy Cripps leading the way there for Carlton. He's at 8. Not too bad. 2 kicks, 6 handballs, a mark, 3 tackles, 3 clearances, and a goal. That's pretty good effort. There we go. Isaac Ranke, as I said, he's on 7 with 1. Let's just quickly roll down these because we'll get back to the game in just a moment. The Scots are loving it. James Henry, how you going? Welcome in. Welcome in. TDK there, Tom DeConey. He's on 5, 4 kicks, 1 handball, a clearance. Let me just roll down here. Taylor the Tex Walker, a little bit quiet. I tell you what, he's been well held at the moment. Just a 4 touches, 4 kicks, 2 marks, and a hit out. That's all from him so far. Sam Doherty for the Blues, just a 4. Who else have we got there? Mitch McGovern, just a 3 there for Carlton, and Harry Mackay, unseen so far, just with the 2 handballs for him. Jake Wiedering just with the 1. Let me just roll this back up, get over to the main. And just for those who are looking for the first goal scorer of the game, of course, that was Isaac Ranke of the Adelaide Crows. He was the first goal scorer. Of course, Paddy Cripps kicked the first for Carlton, so he was number 2. Then Darcy Fogarty, the 8-minute mark, snared another one for the Crows. 14-minute mark, Alex Neil Bullen for the Crows kicked the next. Jesse Motlop for the next for Carlton on the 19-minute mark, and then Adelaide went bang, bang. Jordan Dawson on the 24-minute mark, and Alex Neil Bullen kicked his second there. All right, let's head back down to the ground. Whew. It's Adelaide by 19 points. Can Carlton pull their finger out and get back into this game? I'm sure they can. It's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game, I think, folks. All right, let's get back down to I'm going to try and just reload this. Where are we? Just give me a second while I am just here talking to everyone. Tell you what, don't forget to vote, folks. Don't forget to vote who you think's going to win this game. So far, we have 88% saying the Adelaide Crows. All right, that's enough of me talking. Let's get back down to the ground. The bounce of the ball for the second quarter.
Getting his hands on the ball as well, Josh Rochelle. Surprisingly more midfield time today and had some real good centre clearances as well as had 3 clearances, 2 out of the centre, a couple of shots on goal. Carlton now, they need to fire up. They've been in front at all 7 games at half-time.
So, 6th season as coach for Matthew Nix, and he is downstairs with a smile on his face with Sean Burgon.
Hey, Nixie, 33 points is the most Carlton's conceded in any first quarter this year. You must be happy with the team's offence.
Great with our start, yeah. Not just our offence, it came off of, contest against a team that really value contest. We're very good at it, so really pleasing first quarter.
And Hewitt's going to Rankin, and when he's not there, Dawson, do you look to manipulate that at stoppage?
Yeah, we've got a number of things. We value team over individual, so hopefully Isaac can help us.
Good luck in the second quarter, mate.
Good luck stuff there, Isaac Rankin, with the form that he's been in as well as his teammates. Have looked through some of these key numbers. The Blues have just had 32 disposals in their front half. So at the moment they are sagging back, rolling back to try and support their defence, but then from there, not able to get any flow on the football. Need to make it more of a front half, turn the ball over, style the game for them.
Yeah, the big forwards, Harry Mackay, Charlie Kerner, only 2 disposals each. They'll be looking to get their hands on the ball a bit more as well.
19 points the margin as we start the second turn. Peatling hunts it down. Good dance step, little bounce. Took on too much to Koning. Knocked it down. Laird saved the day, gave to Miller. Out wide to Nankervis. Inside kick is good. Peatling gets it back again. Laird getting plenty of it. Heads long, goal square. Fogarty at the back. He was pushed. And he was doing some pushing as well. So it's against him.
Sam Walsh, only the 2 disposals for Carlton as well, been in red-hot form, but quiet first quarter. I know what it's like when you're a midfielder and you don't have a good start. You're very hungry in the second.
Bunce gets a fist on it, knocks it down, Cribs. Carlton got his arms free. Fed it out to Hewitt and they're out. Pokes it to half forward, Kerno. Haven't seen a lot of it yet. He could launch this. He does. He goes for home. Wow! Awesome from Charlie.
Well, he's a star, and that's why he can do some things that few others can. But speaking about the Crows sagging back behind the football, and whatever Michael Voss said to the boys at quarter time, that's the response that you want. That is why you come out and you say your line coaches. You don't get to speak to the players at quarter time. It's my voice and my voice only. He dragged them in immediately. He gave him a mouthful. He was direct. He pointed the finger, and this is the response you're after. But once again, you see the key defender and Keane sagging back. Now that's really good if someone can put pressure on the football, but otherwise you're just picking it up out of the gutter. It just doesn't make any sense. Kerno's far too good for that.
Yeah. Well done, Charlie. You said him and Harry McLean had the 2 disposals in the first quarter. Same with Sam Walsh. They want to get themselves into the game.
Coming off a 3-goal game last week, Charlie Kerno, so he is in good form. 3 goals in that win over the Cats. High contact 3. O'Brien. Warren. Pulls it late, that kick. Laird feeds it on. Miller hands it on Michael Annie. He goes for goal.
Just a bit rushed. Unnecessarily rushing each other there, Adelaide.
McGovern. Doesn't look like a set play. He's looking both ways. So he's not sure. Just kicks it to a 2-on-2 and kicks it to Rankin. So they certainly were on the same page there, the Blues. Rankin back to Philthorpe. Big fist to Wiedering kills it. Although Keys from his pocket. That was the famous Keys pocket against the Swans.
Famous or infamous?
Yeah, well, infamous if you like.
Strange decision by McGovern. He's kicked in from full back. chose to go non-preferred foot.
Young, Desard. Obviously delivered to Will White.
Rory, back 1 metre.
Says let's calm it down.
A little bit of hang time.
Gee, put that up. It's an air. Wiedering sits under it. That's a play grab. It's unbelievable.
He is a rock, isn't he?
Safe hands.
He's saved a couple of goals already today.
It's long and wide, and Holland really went for it in the end. McConey, after the ball sat inside the line, gave it off to Ollie Hollands. Akers crunched Ron Miller. We cut him in half.
Did well to stand up and jog off from that Akers. A bit of a hospital handball. Very fortunate the ball didn't go over the line and then just lobbed one up.
That's about the only place you can legally hurt someone there with a rib tickler.
Rankin on the run. Opens it up. He wants it back. Neil Bullen puts it to his feet and put him under the hammer. He's good enough to get out of it. Miller out wide. Crows get out of it. Coming. Heads to the pocket. Keys. Up there, Wiedering. Gee, dangerous spot to kick. Kept it alive. Fogarty. He fended off his own man. Gone.
Just butchering their forward 50 entries here, Adelaide. They were a bit like that last week. Seemed to be running into each other, not quite getting the options right. They've had 4 inside 50s for the Keys. Fend off Keys. Please give Keys here. Don't argue.
And what did I do to you?
Get out of my way.
Walsh.
I haven't seen too much of that in a very long time in football.
White. Cripps. Collins caught. Motlop. And now Walsh. Open space ahead. Sard. They've got to go long here. Hewitt. Curnow. We can't kick it from there. Over a couple of heads. Akers tried to pick it up on the run. Keane. Had to get it out. It was under him. White goes in hard. Cripps just as hard. Hewitt looked a little high from here.
Wow. 4 umpires couldn't see that. They'll be spewing Carlton.
Absolutely. That was strange not to play that.
They're all on the wrong side of the contest, I think.
Yeah, and he had a right to go down and pick the ball up. Like he ducked into the tackle. Laird, now the Crows clear it. After Carlton, you would think deserved to have a shot.
Well, it's coming back again. That's the third of the game. The locals aren't happy.
Leadering back to McGovern. Pops the kick nicely to Chera. Sard with a wipe of his hands on his shorts before he takes them up. Now to Haynes. Straight down the corridor. The Koning's playing full forward, couldn't get there for the big leap. Laurels. Hollands and Motlop getting in each other's way. Elijah Hollands had a chance at it, and Motlop wanted to pluck it. Curnow, Hewitt, he might get the one he deserves. De Koning got past them and kicks a ripper just inside the post. He believes it's a goal. They're going to check it.
I believe it's behind. Can we just check that a part of the ball?
Yeah, okay.
So the soft call is behind.
This is going to change the technology when it goes over a post.
Review underway.
It was a big decision, the umpire's decision there, isn't it?
Spot on,
Because you have
Drew.
to turn it around the other way. So you can't do it from that
So
angle.
the difficulty also with the flight of that football is at what point did it cross the line? And was it therefore inside the post at that stage or after? It's going to be really difficult to change that.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we see the ball crosses the line over the top of the goalpost. Decision on the scoreboard.
Well,
Crystal clear.
that's not.
Yeah. Well, if that's called a goal, it's a goal.
That's right.
You can't overturn it as a goal.
That's exactly why I said the umpire's initial decision is absolutely huge in that situation when the cameras aren't good enough to tell the real story.
Miller heads wide. Good mark, Michael Lenny.
Back in this game, though, the Blues, they've balanced out the start of this second quarter.
Not as back as they could have been.
No,
Could have been
true.
an 8-point game. Long bomb down the line. O'Brien got there late. McGovern, no front-on contact through to the Blues there either. Fed forward. Stolen back by Peatley. Laird. Now Bullen. Laird. Worrell. Who does he want? He's got the short that he wants. He didn't hit it. Haynes got in front.
Butchering their forward 50 entries, Adelaide.
It's out wide. Mackay hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Kerno, his target. Elijah Hollins. Laird. Nankervis. Sligo around, he's got it to half forward. They've got the numbers, the Blues. Saad. It's tripped by Rankin.
Take the kick.
Maybe more than clipped.
Stand.
Hopefully just inside of that thigh.
Does hurt. The inside of the thigh does hurt. Hopefully, yeah, you're right.
Not too inside of that thigh, Dwayne.
Haynes goes long. Curto lurking to Koning. Got up. Oh, that was enormous.
Adelaide, your kick.
So O'Brien's free from that attempt at a mark.
Yeah, stand. Stand. Now, please.
I'm not sure that's unrealistic. Umpire thought it was. It's all that matters, I suppose. Crowds in full voice. Crows began the round 5th, but they have lost 3 of their last 4 games. And Saad trying to work out how hard that hit was. See if it can calm down. Michael Voss marking some instructions. The 2 ruckmen dance their way to the ground. Elijah Hollins can't get away with it. Saligo inside. Taylor inside. Miller up. They're going back. Saligo wide. All the way back to Cumming. Saves the day.
Taking a lot of risks through the middle part of the ground with handball, Adelaide.
Rankin. Pumps it out wide. Little nudge from Tex. Was it a big nudge or a little nudge? A little nudge.
Could have been either way, that one, couldn't it?
He's getting craftier in his older age, Tex, with that body work. We'll have to have another look on that. First thought, it looked like it was a push.
Let's have a look. But if the hand's in the back, the hand's in the back, isn't it? When you're pushing.
Yeah.
Correct how much mayo you put on it.
Yeah. Will play his 300th later this season. If he stays fit, Tex thumps it. Works his way back a little.
Both sides, clear it out. Behind the blue dot.
That's what McGovern does this time. Again, he's indecisive. Twice. He looks left. He looked right. So they obviously haven't worked anything out. That's proof of it. They just don't know what they're doing with the kick into the moment, the Blues. No one's on the same page. Rankin, a little shrug. Dance past a couple. Found some space. Worrell.
Go through.
Philthorpe on the move. He's settled on Philthorpe's head. Can't find the ground. Chair of the crowd.
Me too.
Straight down the spine, and they're out if Kerno can get it. But he's in turn. Got by Miller. Gone.
He's been good today, Wayne Miller. That's a big tackle against a big opponent.
Also had 14 touches, Root.
Heads to Walker. Tucked away by Young. Sidestep from Cumming. Left the ball behind. The big O. A long way down there to pick it up. Worrell feeds it out. Walker with Young to beat. Well, he deliberately didn't take possession, Tex.
Oh, contact, Carlton.
Carlton free. It'll go to Cooper Lord. Cooper Lord not sure. It is Cooper Lord's ball. The umpire yelled out Cooper Lord.
Your free kick.
I feel the next goal is important in this contest.
Mid-season draft pick last year. Cooper Lord out wide to Kerno.
Presenting really well, Kerno. Becoming that lead player. Still got Mackay forward of the football.
Back to Lord.
And with that duo back in the team the last week or so, this is where you can have confidence to take field position, to go long down the line to get a contest.
Mackay can't mark it. Dawson crumbs it. Well, Mackay stole it, but a little too late.
Dwayne, while this going on, Sark's still on the bench now. He's just on his back now getting some work to his hip and quad.
Keep an eye on that, thanks, Sean. Here's what happened. Little stretch of the groin.
Yeah, it didn't look like a corky.
Lockie Cow on the sub for the Blues. They're holding through. Saligo. And for the record, Sam Berry, the sub for the Crows. Peatling. His old teammate. Is that coming? Crossed to Adelaide together in the off-season. Saligo worked hard. Goes wide to Walker, 2 to beat, and Haynes kills it with a fist.
Well, stoppages are good for the Crows this quarter. They're dominating it 6-0. So after what we saw in the first quarter, which was initially controlled by the Blues, it's been a good response. And they've got a 450 opportunity with Phil Thorpe in the ruck.
De Koning works right to the front, ripped it out of the air, had it ripped from him. Akers, Walsh. Good to see he's okay with that call. 2-on-2 on the wing. Snap to the front. Dawson, great smother. The two captains head-to-head again. Superman got away. Caught by the cape. Handballed away according to the umpire. Crowd not so sure. Now Curtis. Peatling changed his mind after the ball drop. Dawson, Smith, hot in the kitchen at the moment. It's a great watch though. Roll wide. Coming. Let's get a shot in the pocket. Walker.
They're getting shots from a long way out though, Adelaide, so and not easy kicks. Tex has already had one from this spot this quarter. Missed it to the left.
What an awesome passage of play with the two skippers going head-to-head. Initially, Cripps. Dawson says not on my watch, and he chases him back down.
Was a little down early last week against Fremantle, but finished with 2 goals. 2 against the Giants this year, 2 against Geelong. He went to score on his first miss and drills it this time.
Well, that's a man that learns from his first error and then goes back and laces it. It's still a pleasure to watch Tex Walker have a set shot with all the modern players going around the body and all the tricks. But this is what I'm speaking about. Great smother initially by Cripps. Look at the facial expressions from Dawson. Said, "You're not getting away from me." Chases him down, keeps it in their front half, and here comes the pressure. And that ability to go from inside to outside to be able to control the football. Tex does one lead, then goes back on Young. Can't see him coming on the blind side. And yes, you're spot on, Rude. They have been shots from probably distance. Here by Tex Walker, there's almost no limit to how far.
He loves playing against Carlton. Have a look at the bags of goals that Tex kicks against Carlton. He's got a great record there. 3+ in 5 of the last 6 games, Dwayne.
Yeah, no Crows hit more goals than Tex. It's going well again today, despite his age. G. Haynes hit the deck hard. Through the traffic again. Keys. Splits the middle. 2 in 20 seconds.
That hurts because Carlton have been good at the start of this quarter. They've been solid. Adelaide haven't made the most of it, but they have in the last couple of seconds. Killing them in the clearances, as you said, Nick, through halfway through that first quarter, they were right on top, Carlton. Let's have a look at this. Oh, that's a hard hit. You're all floppy and exposed there in Haynes' position. That is a very vulnerable position where Nick Haynes was there, and you got a big tank in Wiedering coming and just smashing you straight in the back.
Got to be careful on that one, Fogarty. We've seen a few players be suspended for pushing their opponent into the contest. Wasn't as significant as some of the others we've seen, but just the idea.
Young in the rut now for the Blues. Dawson, Saligo, One-handed collect on the run, out wide to Cumming, going backwards though. And Michael Annie's kick smothered across the boundary. They can't afford to lose Nick Haynes, either the Blues from their defence. His best game since joining the Blues was last week against Geelong. They lost Silvani as well this week. It weakens their back line. From whipping boy earlier this year, Blues fans, to hero last week. Montlock outside the boot. Pumped away by Smith. Taylor. Dispossessed. Cripps. Spears it inside 50, missed his target. Smith. Van Curvis. A couple of hesitation steps. Got away with it. Soligo. It looked a high fend. Fogarty free.
Yeah, it was a high fend.
Short, dangerous. Hollands got his ground. Game 50 for Ollie Hollands.
It was a high fend. He was sort of down low, the little fella, but he still can't poke him in the face.
To Mackay, one grab, not the second. Smacked out of there by Warren. Sard has to go. Tex went. Kept it alive. Brilliant. 1-2 from Taylor to Taylor Walker. Curtain wide. Taylor again. Little hesitation step. And a dainty pass. Filter. Walker. What a build-up this is. Keys out the back. He left it for Isaac. And he's off 50. Right.
Take a deep breath.
Waste no time, but wastes the shot.
I still don't know why players take that shot as casual as they do. Take your full 30. Take a breath and actually execute the snap properly.
And give your defence a rest. Because they just worked hard.
It's such a good passage of play.
So now their defence hasn't had much of a rest, and Carlton quickly attacking into it. Motlop, back pedals. Akers. Kerno again. He muscled his way back to that brilliantly. Pops it to the pocket in hope. Found his target, Walsh.
And he did 67% of game time in the first quarter, Walsh. Remember, he got that corky? Yeah, 67%. So I wouldn't have thought that's his usual output, a super fit player like Sam Walsh. So it's just going to keep an eye on him. Below par with his disposals as well. At the moment, he's only had the 6 disposals. This will be number 7.
Crowd packed in here. They enjoyed seeing that. Missed for near side, but a bit of luck go their way. The Adelaide Crows. One that looked like a goal to the Coney, not allowed, caught it behind. Laurel, heads wide. Overcooked. Ollie Hollands.
Move it on.
It's got Mackay forward. Neither of them get near it. And Harry Mackay might have some bad memories of last time here. He was concussed here, gather round against the West Coast Eagles. That's if he's actually got any memory of it at all. Of course.
Tex was saying that's play on and out of bounds there to the umpire.
I tend to agree with Tex there.
Young. Lord. Got a handball away. No. Zach Taylor. Been good.
Just jinxed him.
He's missed his target by 10 metres.
Game 13 for Zach Taylor.
You witnessed Jason Dunster do that to Nick Larkin here last week, Dwayne.
Shearer outside of the boot to the pocket. Mackay got there way late. Tackled late on Curtin. He had one arm locked in.
I thought your powers only impacted those having a set shot. There you can get him off halfback as well.
Good contest at the moment. Big 5 minutes coming up here to half-time. There is Taylor on cue. Have it up to Shelley. Kick smothered. Flicked up by Star, and the umpire was wide to it.
You can't scoop it up.
The switch. Laurel. Not the required lead, had to go.
That's on 5.
Peakling. So pick their way through them. Back to Michael Lanny. Walker's in a good spot. Withering with the fist wins out. Sard, Hewitt. Back to Hewitt from the Coney. Shrug the tackle attempt. Cripps.
That's on 5.
Good pass to Kerno. It's beyond his range, even though he can launch a ball. Looks up, sends it long to the pocket. Nudge. Great grab ball.
And that's up against Blake Acres, I think, who's a very good mark above his head, so it makes it even better.
6th season on the list for Josh Worrell, having a great year. Hewitt pulls that in.
It's hard to find a bit of the football. George Hewitt come out for disposal number 12. It was quite early.
On track for an All-Australian jumper the way he's been playing this year. George Hewitt sends it to the pocket. Leapers go up. Saligo crumbs it down to Peatling, getting plenty of it. That's a nicely delivered pass for Fogarty. Walker, his target. Withering right with him. Tex did pretty well. Out of bounds, a win there for Adelaide. They can reset. He knows it.
From a midfield perspective, Chera and Walsh just the 7 disposals each. Worrell up to 15. Cripps, the captain, leading the way with 15 and led across half back. But the man that got off the suspension, and rightly so, during the week, just had the 7 touches.
Yeah, the most possessions ever, Adam Chera, in a game, 39, so he can rack them up. Keep him low. Hewitt shrugs that high. There's Chera, gets another one. Walsh taken to the deck and gives a little extra mayo by Peatling. George Hewitt, 29 possessions against Geelong last week and 8 tackles. Dominant a couple of weeks ago in the Good Friday clash. Carlton come into this having won their past 3 games in hot form. Bouncing ball, Kerno gets, looks around, heads long, puts it into some space. Race on, Worrell should get there. Hunted down by Durden, shook him. Rochelle took the step, has to go, in some trouble. Pressure on the kid, but gets it to Curtin, who's really rising at the play. That's probably 50.
Benefit of the doubt, given to Doherty.
Just gained 15 for Daniel Curtin. Still eligible for the Rising Star as well. This year, not nominated so far this year, Daniel Curtin. Butts.
You see the space the Crows have. They've done this well. They've just controlled the football, edged their way forward. About the speed of Worrell for the second time this half, Dwayno. Great turn of foot.
Outside 5.
Michael Lanning.
Probably going to have to take the long option here. Take some field position.
Pumps it down the line. Great grab to Coney. Going to be the next big thing somewhere. Hopefully the Blues will sign him up long term. Next contract's going to be massive. In fact, his name means the king. De Koning, he might end up being the king when he gets his new contract signed. Michael Lanning. Saligo.
Stand, Patrick, Graham.
Curtin. Little fake. Smith. Rochelle. What could Tex do with this? Missed his handball target is Smith.
The idea was right. He had the runner running shotgun boundary side. He just put it a metre behind him. Otherwise they were off again. Just over a minute to play. Game not out of reach for the Blues. They haven't done a lot right. Just look at some of those midfield numbers once again. A handful of midfielders for the Blues not impacting just yet.
Watching, guys.
Second half with their problem earlier this season. They're going to need a big second half in this one. Peatling has had a ton of it. Floats it high. Not quite Dawson. It's causing him threat as a forward. He was rolling that tackle.
Well, believe it or not, Dwayno, the Blues sit 3 wins, 4 losses, but they have never trailed at half-time. Just to highlight that drop off in the second half. Michael Voss writing notes, plotting his calls.
They lost their first 4 games, but have won their last 3. 3 wins, 4 losses right now. As Dale said, Walsh gets it. Gave it a Chera, a little slip. Back to Walsh to get him out of trouble. Wide. Curtin. That's another good grab.
It's 197 centimetres.
And strong. Here's the pocket. And Dawson is wreaking havoc as a forward.
That is such good hands, fully stretched. We spoke earlier about being the best contestant, Mark. Got the Jukes out in front on the lead at full speed. Got McGovern. Great kick, great mark.
Possession average this season is slightly up on his career average, but his impact has been slightly down. Want a showdown from this pocket. On the siren. That is splendid. That's as good as it gets. A captain's goal on half-time from the pocket. What a lifter that is. That's the biggest margin of the game. 33 points at half-time. The Crows are hot. Fifth on the ladder. Looking to consolidate their spot in the top 8. They lead 55-22.
All right, so the Crows in control of this game. The Crows 8-7-55, Carlton 3-4-22. Tell you what, Carlton need to come out with a big second half, I think, to unravel Adelaide here. Adelaide putting on 3 goals, 4 in that second term. The poor old Blue Bags could only manage 1 goal, 2 half time. Commence of the second half. 18 minutes away, folks. We'll get a little bit of analysis of the commentators when they're back, not too far away. Let's just roll over and we'll have a look at the goal scorers as we do. Actually, the fantasy points, if you play that game, Jordan Dawson, 78 points up until halftime. Isaac Ranke, 62. Paddy Cripps on 60. The goal scorers so far in this game for Adelaide Crows, Alex Neil Bullen and Jordan Dawson, of course, both the only multiple goal scorers with 2 apiece. For the Crows, Taylor Tex Walker, he's on the board with 1 with Isaac Ranke. Ben Keys, Darcy Fogarty. Carlton, I know it's lonely, isn't it? Just the 3 goal scorers, Jesse Motlop, Charlie Curnow, Paddy Cripps, all singles to them. Let's have a look at the disposal getters. Look, everyone's pretty even on there. No one's standing out. No one's dominating. The top 2 to 3 is, of course, from Adelaide. Josh Worrell there on 16, 12 kicks, 4 handballs. Wayne Malera next best with 15, with Roy Laird 15. Of course, Paddy Cripps continues to lead the way for Carlton on 15. Not too bad. Look, he always tries his best, doesn't he? He's a star. 5 kicks, 10 handballs, 2 marks, 4 tackles, 3 clearances. He's kicked a goal. Just need a little bit more lift out of his teammates there. George Hewitt, 14 there for the Blues baggers there. Let's just roll down a little bit more. Adam Sard there up to 12. Isaac Ranke on 13, 1 goal, 1 he's kicked. Rochelle, well, he's just doing a little bit, 13. Disposals, 9 kick, 2 behinds. Yeah, unfortunately missed a couple there. Sam Walsh, he's a little bit quiet there for the Blues, just the 9 touches. Need a bigger second half out of him. Need to get himself up and running. Just the 1 behind for Sam Walsh there. Charlie Curnow, well, he did kick 1 goal in that term. Of course, it bounced in the goal square and bounced up and over the Adelaide defender. Of course, went through for a goal. A little bit lucky for Charlie Curnow, but at least he's on the board there for the Blue Baggers. He's just had the 8 touches, 7 kicks, 5 marks. He needs to do a little bit more as well. Riley Thielthorpe, the Carlton defence holding him well. He's only had the 6 touches, only 2 kicks. Not troubled the scoreboard as yet, so Carlton fans will be happy there. But Adelaide will be thinking, well, Riley, you've done not much in this opening half. Maybe we can get a big quarter out of you, which would be good for the Adelaide folk as well. Jesse Motlop down there just with the 4. Sam Doherty just with the 4. He's just a little bit quiet. And of course, Harry Mackay. Well, I'm not too sure when they play Harry and Charlie together. I think they're a better looking outfit when only one of them play. Team stats, let's have a look. Adelaide Crows in control of this game, 63. All right, we'll have a quick look at the stats team stats in just after a moment. Commentators are back. They'll give us a little bit of a wrap up on the opening half.
33 points the margin, biggest margin of the game, right on half time. Perfect time to have the lead as we head downstairs to the boundary. Judo and Sean Berger.
Sean, when the Crows need to stand up in a big game, you want your captain to do it, and he's done it. He's been brilliant in the first half with 14 disposals and 2 goals.
Well, yeah, he's been very influential, hasn't he? He's gone forward. He's taking his marking to a new level. You know, he's got very strong hands for a midfielder. So if it's not him, you know, down the other end, Warren's been really strong as well. So they're getting it done everywhere.
Yeah, he sure has. The skipper, he's been absolutely fantastic. A goal on the half-time break. And now the highest ranked player on the ground, Isaac ranking there. Saad, who's got that little bit of an injury. Cripps has been good as well, but score involvements, Dawson, just those grabs in the forward line, they're gold, aren't they?
Well, they are. You see Rankin and Dawson there, the two most damaging players, getting the ball centre forward, kicking it inside 50. And I think Walker and Fogarty and Philpott will love those entries.
Yeah, and the host plus performance of the first half is Adelaide's ability to score from centre bounce clearance. Not usually one of their strengths, but today they've got 3 goals, 1 from that area. And when you score from there, that's usually a very good sign, Sean.
Well, it creates momentum as well, centre bounce goals. That's how you get the momentum going. But the Crows ruckman getting involved as well, not just sitting back, getting involved in handball chains. They can't stop them. The Carlton defenders don't know whether to push up or hold back, and you just create space for the Adelaide midfielders to run into.
Yeah, absolutely. The forwards like it as well when it comes straight out of the middle. Defence haven't got time to set up. Benny Keys licking the ice cream there after some good work. Also, Adelaide's ball movement as well. There's the centre clearances, 8-3. So Carlton were well on top in the clearances at the start of the first quarter, but then Adelaide dominated from there. And have a look at that, 3 goals, 1 to zip. Adelaide will be very happy with that. They'll also be very happy with their ball movement from defence, Sean. They've been fantastic, haven't they?
Well, they are. They're moving the ball with speed. They're changing angles, and there's a kick out from fullback here. And you mentioned it. This is a couple of centimetres away from being out of bounds on the full.
Well, look at this mark.
High risk, high reward, and then there's a quality mark here. But they get the speed back on the ball, and they go with speed. There's Brady Smith breaking it open, handball chain. Now you've got the Carlton defenders down. They don't know whether to press or whether to hold their man, and in the end, they're caught in their men's man.
Yeah, exactly. It's full pressure for everyone. Pressure if you got the ball, pressure if you're defending it, and in the end, they got a goal out of that. Here's a bit more good ball movement, found the space out wide. And Peatling, he's been linking up through the middle of the ground. Hasn't done everything right today, James Peatling, but he's having an absolute crack. That handball does make it hard for Tex. And that one is a bit of a hit and hope. Didn't quite get the score result they wanted to there, but they've been well on top so far in the first half. Adelaide, back to you, Dwayno.
Thanks, Roo. Next Saturday night, it does not get any bigger than this. Showdown 57. Port Adelaide absolutely smashed today by the Western Bulldogs. They'll be coming out hard next week. And the Crows, they are on track to be top 4 heading into this one. Can't wait for that one. Second half coming up here. The Adelaide Oval next.
All right, there we go. They will be back not too far away, folks. Let's just get back and we'll have a look at some of the team stats now. As we said, there we go. 63 disposals plus to Adelaide. So they're dominating. I like the way they run. Looking at some of the vision there. Adelaide taking the ball with a bit of speed, as I was saying, and sort of just leaving in Carlton in no man's land, not knowing what to do and a little bit flat-footed. And, of course, seeing some of the players there just jogging, not chasing hard. Of course, Adam Saad always chases hard down when he can. The kicks, plus 18 to the Crows with the handball, 46 plus to the handballs. They're getting that link-up, chain-up run going really well with the Adelaide Crows. Of course, inside 50s, Carlton, well, they're a little bit low on the inside 50s up until half-time. 21's a low number. They've had 7 scoring shots for 21 inside 50s. Adelaide Crows, however, 29 inside 50s. That's a little bit better. That's going on their season average or a touch over for 15 scoring shots. So they're doing quite well when they get their ball into forward 50. They're quite effective there. Disposal efficiency, as we can see, Adelaide, high numbers there, 79.9. Carlton are, well, season's average, but they should be better. That's under under what most teams are. So they really need to consider lifting in that, get their disposal, ball handling a little bit better. Efficiency inside 50, 28% to Carlton. Yeah, okay. That can only improve Carlton. Let's go. Adelaide Crows 51, not too bad there. Free kicks. Umpires finding the game all square there, all pretty even in the free kick count. Both teams on 11. Nothing much going on there. The hit out, so Adelaide Crows crunching there, plus 10. 23-13 clearances. Adelaide Crows doing better in the clearance section as well. Plus 8 and dominating in the centre. Clearances 8-3. Oh, there we go. The midfields, as I said, the midfields have got to lift for Carlton if they want to get back into this game. A lot of them all having quiet games there. Well, apart from Paddy Cripps, he's doing quite well. The rest of the mids need to get their act together for the blue bag of stoppage clearances. Adelaide by 3. Contested possessions, a plus 10 to Adelaide, but uncontested. They're just controlling this game. 150-90, plus 60 for a half of football. Whew. Carlton, you're just not getting the ball in your hands enough. There we go. Have a look at the marks as well, folks. That's plus 19 to Adelaide. Marks inside 50. Damaging tail here. 10 already to the Adelaide Crows. Only 1 to Carlton. Carlton just can't find a target inside their forward 50, whereas Adelaide creating space, doing the job very, very well. All right, folks. We'll be back in just a moment when the commentators are back. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
It'll be just terrific. I can't wait to see the Dacos boys go to work again. They're a pleasure to work. I think you've got to almost worry about Josh as much as Nick right now.
Oh, I love that. I think it's a fascinating call because Geelong's half-forward line have probably been their strength over the last 2 to 3 years, is that they come up against arguably one of the best half-backers in the way Josh Dacos has been playing. So, for me, they can, around the ball, Collingwood's defence, they are nearly the best defensive team in terms of organisation. Can the Cats midfield at long down the line contest and contests around the ground from clearance take it through the middle of the ground? It comes down to Max Holmes, Patrick Dangerfield and Bailey Smith. They need to be courageous and drive their bodies to the middle of the ground and own the corridor in the MCG tonight.
No one will be missing this game tonight. I mean, everyone in the footy world is tuning in for this game because you know these two sides are benchmark sides. You'll probably have to beat them in September to win the premiership.
And they're hard to beat here, Collingwood. They play a lot of footy here. We talk about that a lot, but they are hard to beat here. I just think when you look at both models, Collingwood are in perfect sync at the moment. Only the Suns are more effective at turning possession to a score, and only Carlton are better defensively at denying the opposition their opportunity to score. So they've got their work cut out, Geelong. I think they need a performance out of the box, and we always talk Jeremy Cameron when that's the case.
Yeah, well, it could come from Chris Scott, the coach, but Jack Crisp tonight, obviously, he breaks the consecutive games record held by Jim Steins. Jim Steins' room not far away from where we're broadcasting tonight. What a fantastic achievement by him.
It's an extraordinary streak, isn't it? Began in round 18, 2014. Wow. He has not missed a game since 2014. It is remarkable what Jack Crisp is achieving this evening.
It's hard enough to go to consecutive games and watch. It is to think about playing everyone.
They're on early.
Jay Clark, in terms of the ins and outs, Tom Stewart out is a massive story.
It certainly is. The Cats are hoping the week off will be a bit of a circuit breaker for Tom Stewart. We know he's been carrying a PCL injury, re-aggravated it last week against Carlton, and to be honest, could be carrying it for the rest of the year. The problem is, for the Cats, without him, they've really struggled. A 6-week stretch last year, they lost 5 of them again without him in Brisbane, round 3. They lost him that one again. So he leaves one of the biggest voids in football, Jack. Who's the man to stand up without him in that defence?
You can't fill it by one person. I think Zach Guthrie, I think maybe they use blitzards down back. Chris Scott's a masterclass of a coach, so no doubt he's got a plan. Connor O'Sullivan's the other one that's got to stand up as well.
Well, we're getting excited here at the MCG. They're expecting over 80,000. Crowd prediction tonight? I'm going with 82.
88 for me.
88, 82 and a half.
88, 85.
Well, if you're not lucky enough to be here, you can only see it on Fox Footy. It is coming up shortly. But up next, we are back to Adelaide Oval. It's the Crows leading Carlton.
You're watching Super Saturday.
Bossy, you're in unfamiliar territory. You've led at halftime in every game so far this season. What do you have to do now, structurally, to get yourself back into it?
We'll test our second half now, won't it? But look, we're outplayed. You know, Adelaide were just too good around the ball initially, going from inside to outside, and so then we were caught chasing. So I felt like we rectified a few things through that quarter. So but we were working really hard for our goals. So look, we have to have to take the game on. We've got to be able to close this scoreboard down. So there's got to be a little bit of risk in that.
And Jordan Dawson's the number one player on the field at the moment. Did George Hewitt go to him and lock him away?
Well, one would argue that we've had that role for the whole game, mate, and we haven't been able to get that done. So, yeah, he's a very good player, and he's been able to have an impact. Obviously, he's kicked his couple of goals now, and he's threatening on the scoreboard as well. So he's obviously a key player in the planning, but we haven't been able to get that job done yet.
No worries, mate. Good luck in the second half.
We've had a couple of possession winners, like Cripps, who's had it 15 times, and Hewitt, who's had it 14 times. They haven't dominated the game with their possessions. Who's going to have to lift, do you think?
Well, they've got some mates in the midfield that need to get a bit of a wriggle on this second half because they will be challenged. Cherry's only had the 9, Walsh has had 8, he's had 9, Akers has had 8. And when you add that all together, Mackay's only had the 3 disposals. And we saw what he did last week. I think Curno's presented really well through the middle of the ground. But you want the big boys to impose themselves a little bit more. Led really well by Cripps. But they've got their hands full at the moment. That ball move, once again, from the Crows is really challenging them all over the field.
They've got to win the clearances, Carlton. They've been poor since about halfway through the first quarter.
And Mackay was dominant last week against Geelong. Hasn't quite been able to get amongst it so far tonight, but there's a ton of time left. De Koning and O'Brien. Cripps manhandled before he could really take possession. Soligo squeezed it out the front. Almost Walker. Young. Great smother. Keys picked his pocket and floated it wide. Coming on the run. Pretty good off the boot. Brilliant off the boot, but is it a hole on Wiedering? Is it a hole?
He has. See Wiedering his arm.
Didn't need to do it, really. Akers, so the Blues dodge a ball early.
Neil Bullen and Keys and Cumming were all celebrating. Didn't realise it.
It was 18 on 16 while those two were celebrating. Cripps got one of the ear. Eye contact, so a couple of frees spotted for the Blues that were certainly there. Cripps deserves this one.
It's a big swing though, isn't it, when you think you're going to go and all of a sudden you haven't.
Well, the Blues could argue they thought they had one with De Koning in the first half. Motlop looks inside. That's horrific. Great of you, Neil Bullen. To Soligo, their own worst enemy at the moment, the Blues. And Miller heads to Phil Thorpe. Wiedering almost had an arm there as he went up. Spanks it away in hope. Akers got a couple to beat. Miller coming, dumps it back towards Walker. Held it to the front. Soligo weaves his way past a couple. Neil Bullen, gee, that was unselfish. Could have gone behind, goes for Keys. Oh, wow! What happened there? He might still kick the miracle goal. That is bizarre.
Gee, they've been good at butchering 450 entries. Let's have a look here at the hold. Yeah, the hold was there. And I don't know what that was.
No?
That's a clanger.
That's a clanger. Just put it down as an error.
Yeah, and that was a certain goal as well. So a weird start, but just to kind of start, the Blues needed a little bit of luck going their way. Walsh toward half forward. Is that a nudge out?
So the King, we don't need any advantage off half-back. Had a really solid game. He's really had great career, isn't he, across the half-back line. Good size, solid in his one-on-one, supports his teammates at the right time.
Matthew Nicks. See the look on his face. Good game this. A lot of difference between this big loss. That's a hard one to the back of Butts.
Oh, Mackay's hurt as well.
Butts slowly gets himself to his feet. He's hurting big time. Back of the lineup, Jordan Butts. Father, Jared played for the Blues. 3 games for the Blues. Jared Butts. Dawson almost. Jared. Young. Hewitt. Took the netball step, and that wasn't too much of a step for the umpire to call play on. Put his hand up and said, sorry, I didn't mean to take that step. Down the line to Mackay. That's a nudge out from Butts. So some little things going the Blues' way. Can Mackay get some form back? Hoping for the big leap of Kerno. Wow, he's been doing it all. Hit the deck. Marcolani told to go. Mackay. McGovern floated in with him. My sport, he butts. Feeds it on. Fogarty with the hesitation step. Dawson. Now Keys can go. It sits. He's away. It's that. He's away. He's there for the 1-2. Walker turns. Well, Rankin was inside. Fogarty was inside. Rankin goes and gets it. And gets away. They've got a 2-on-1 in the pocket. Philthorpe can't mark it. Haynes did well. Sard just as well. That's ball. It's a few things going the Blues' way. But they're still 34 points down.
Well, it's great recovery defence by the Blues, but the amount of times there was an error and there was 2 or 3 Crows sort of pick up the ground ball and keep the flow of play. That's a great tackle on the big man, Sard.
So they're just butchering 450 entries again.
Sard wants the 1-2. Chera turns, spears, and found his target. Cripps. Big looping handle over the top is beautiful. Elijah Hollands has the target. He has not seen it all night, Corey Durden. This is his first touch. South Australian back home. He's got a few family in the house from Golden Grove. This is a huge moment.
Got the 7 goals this year. He's been a real good little player for him. Big opportunity here against the Tide.
It's a great handball here from Cripps.
First possession of the game for Corey Durden. And he's got it. Just what they needed, the Blues. Let's have a look at the Bunnings build-up.
Well, it's a great result. They ultimately go the length of the field, all off the back of that Sard tackle on Philthorpe. And this is what Michael Voss was speaking about. We're going to have to take some risks. We're going to go through the middle of the ground. But it's that handball from Cripps. It's just a regulation. Well, it's a 15-minute handball, so it's not regulation. It's a great handball. But it's the bravery to keep the ball moving, not knowing exactly what the flow of play will look like after this. But if they choose to go slow, Crows get numbers back.
Goal against the Tide for the Blues.
He's an accurate kick. 42 goals, 26 now for his career, Corey Durden, in game 52. Big moment that. On the restart. De Koning and O'Brien. Cripps stalking it. Couldn't get it. Dawson does. Heatling. Bobbles it away in hope. Bouncing ball. Knock on. Tied off the deck by McGovern. It might work. Hewitt. Heatling claims the mark. It was never going to be paid. And cuts him some slack for not hearing the play encore perhaps, and he has a laugh. Crowd's been in full voice from the outset. Lord Crust. Elijah Hollands with the tackle. Father played in the Sandford for a while, 101 games for West Adelaide. Father Ben. Yep. Also played 8 games for Richmond. Actually on Portsless for a year, but didn't get a game. Neil Bullen, touch play on. Curtin manhandled. Caught by McGovern. Take it into the deck carefully. Edge of the seat stuff at the moment. 28 points. That's the margin with a ton of time left. Cripps, Hewitt, Doherty, Lord. Nice movement. Durden trying to go back to Lord. Pumped away by Brian. Coming. Doherty. It's in good hands for a nerve settler from here.
It's in great hands. Just great body work by Fogarty. He's got the big frame. That full chest face in the football didn't allow McGovern to get around him or even get an arm in. And just a little bit of over-possession by the Blues. Crows going more direct, one handball, get it going forward.
Philthorpe, he cops Wiedering and then Walker and Fogarty just get the smaller defenders.
He's kicked 17 goals, 3 this year. And it was touched off the boot anyway. So some little things going the Blues' way at the moment. And the crowd can sense it. You can sense, they can sense it. Saad with a bounce to the back pocket. Little hesitation step. The pause button. Took on Keys. It's like a Wiedering with one paw.
They're Wiedering on Nankervis. That was a mismatch.
Down the line. Good grab again from Mackay. Starting to find it now.
I like the idea of Mackay being the link man between the arcs as they choose to go back and across, and Curnow playing closer to goal.
So the switch. Haynes. They want the corridor, they get it. Hewitt. Young. Wiedering.
Every Crows player, as you can see in screen, are behind this line of the kick. This is where the ball movement, the boys have got to go so slow. If they can't find a short option, they will eventually have to go long down the line.
That's what he does. There's the congestion. Coming hard to Coney, but he put it down. Phil Thorpe stole it. Out to Michaelani. Miller with a pull kick was nice from Saligo. Taylor. Laurel playing the game of his life. Heads out wide. McGovern couldn't take them up, but cut it off. Hands it back. Carroll. And then Keys to meet in that sandwich. The Blues have lifted. They were awesome last week against Geelong. 3-goal win last week against the Cats. The game played with immense pressure from go to low. Hewitt, DeConing, Cripps, the usual suspects. Akers, a fumble, a slip. Is he in trouble? Yep.
Well, at times we are very lenient with a lot of things, but I think if you're slipping, you've had a few steps, ball in hand, you deserve to hand it to the opposition.
Well, he slipped and fell on it. And there's a fumble, your prior opportunity. Not normally.
All of the above.
Phil Thorpe got a hand on it. DeConing with the crumb. Hewitt. The dive from Akers. Not going his way at the moment. The Laurel pickup on the run was delightful.
We're just quickly speaking about Worrell. Where does he end up at some stage in his career? What position?
Well, I think he's always going to be that third tall defender, intercept defender. If sides have only got one tall forward, or maybe their second one's not a real big fella, he can play that sort of second tall defender if he needs to.
DeConing, Chera, they're out here. White, a rare touch. Spears it towards Fogarty. Mackay, Chera, Doherty, go get that. The Doc, Chip, Curnow. Their guns are starting to fire. He was unstoppable in moments last week, Charlie Curnow. 3 goals in the win over Geelong. Won a couple of Colemans. One Carlton's goal kick in the past 3 seasons. Kicked 81 goals a few years ago in a season, and he misses. Laurel chips it, Michaelani. Not 15, the umpire said. Curnow corrals in. Wiedering with the big fist. Hewitt started to wreak havoc. Doherty inside kick. Didn't quite find Hollands. Lord flicks it. Hewitt hunted down from behind. Walsh goes back. Doherty for the pocket. Hollands not the required. He's trying to claim it. Plead his case. The umpire won't overturn his decision. Down to Peter, squeezed it away, Tex. Touch play on Tex. Well, he hasn't heard the call, or he's making out he hasn't heard the call. Wiedering hasn't heard the call, now he has. That was weird. Haynes. Brilliant grab.
That's what they need from Nick Haynes. When he was at his best, all Australian quality was that intercept marks, and not just the spoils, but actually turning defence into attack.
McGovern, the ex-Crow, the 50-gamer, Ollie Holmes, Doherty, okay, 175. First ever AFL coach was Michael Voss when he was at the Lions. Voss will be his last AFL coach too. Doherty goes wide to Chera. Down the line they travel. Walsh, wide. Carroll showed some poise and hits his target, Mackay.
That's the key. Don't have to bomb away every time. That's why I like Mackay up between the arcs, a little bit more present.
Harry doesn't quite have this range, does he? Well, he sets it up in hope. Gives it some air. Tex! What's he doing down there?
That was a terrible kick by Mackay. What was he thinking? I know he's trying to lay it up, but he's got to lay it up to the advantage of your team.
Those pictures painted 1,000 words of Michael Voss.
To face it, we never practiced that. I don't remember teaching the boys to kick it in that direction. It must be frustrating.
Did a lot of good work to get to that point. They got just pushing Adelaide. They've had 64 disposals to 42 in this third quarter. That's the first time they've sort of controlled the game a little bit more.
Saliga, dainty little kick. Dawson with a push off. It opens up now. Rochelle out the back, Keys. Brilliant. Slip ball movement. Keys dropped one earlier this quarter. He made sure of that.
And that's the frustrating thing for Michael Voss there. They'd worked their backsides off to get a scoring opportunity, and Harry Mackay took a great mark, and then just an ordinary kick into his forward 50, and now Adelaide may well make them pay.
Had a rare game without a goal last week against Fremantle, Ben Keys. Joint winner of the Crows' best and fairest last season. A nerve settler for Ben Keys and the Crows.
You go back to that stoppage route, and it was Dawson that was coming through the contest with speed. So maybe a little bit cute here from Saliga. You can see him trying to just move the ball on, but this moment right here, that can be a quick kick at some times or some stages, but he chose to drive his legs, Dawson. Then you see the isolation and the options it gives you forward of the football. And it puts Carroll in a really different position, trying to manage the possible leader. And then they ultimately just do the opposite of what the defender does. They come up, the forward goes back. Great response.
And the Adelaide ball movement has been very good all day. It's just when they can't quite finish off with that last kick, they're not getting full reward for effort. But through the middle part of the ground, they've been hard to stop.
Young in the ruck against O'Brien now. Tough task for Young. Rankin. Peatling hammers it to half forward. Saad. Neil Bullen. Given it a long time. Got a kick away. Wiedering. Walsh. Hammered. Cut in half by Laird. He's done it to a couple.
Played well today, Laird. Just a good, solid tackle there. Easy to go a bit too hard and cop them high, but that was just a good piece of footy by both players.
He was a rookie draft pick way back in 2011, Rory Laird. This is game 255. Walsh. Young. Chips it wide and sort of on the floor. Mark, take your pick. Keane.
Still have to tell Mark Keane the rules a little bit, don't you?
I think Charlie's having a laugh about it on the mark.
It's his second AFL stint, of course. 5 games for Collingwood.
He's still laughing at him.
Thilthorpe. Compound fracture in his finger last week, but still fighting the fight. Rochelle!
Just kicked the 2 points so far, Rochelle. Loves a goal more than anyone.
Tex and Sard having some work still. Umpire having a word to both of them. Nouns and verbs continue to fly. Tex giving him a mouthful. He'll celebrate this hard, you'd think, Josh Rochelle. And the crowd celebrate with him. He did the big flex. Don't you love it?
It was either the flex or the Rocky Balboa. We didn't know what we were going to get, Dwayne, but one thing was for sure, you knew you were going to get something out of him. You loved the celebration.
Well, he pushes back harder here in the pocket, or pushes forward. And once again, it's Carroll just in a really awkward position, taking front spot. This is Tex just letting Sard know. Maybe trying to entice a free kick as well.
I think he's trying to get a 50, wasn't he? Sard saying, you're not bad on the lip, are you?
Well, they can point at the scoreboard right now. It's 40 points, biggest margin of the game. And Josh Rochelle, who was dropped like the naughty boy last year. Matthew Nick's giving him a reality check. Critical goal there. Gerald, a talk forward. Hits the deck. Fogarty, White, Lord, Cripps. Sidestep was good. Gave it to Lord. Chips it. Nice little pass to Durden.
Hey, Dwayne, looks like the Crows have made their sub. Berry's on. It looks like Mankervis has been subbed at the moment. It's maybe tactical.
Okay, thanks for that, Sean.
Said he was a dead-eye, didn't you, Dwayne?
I did, but I didn't want to say it again, Roy, but he has kicked 42 goals, 26 career. Squeezes it home like a dead-eye should.
Never in doubt, Dwayne.
Might have been in trouble if there was another coat of paint added to that post over the week.
So he hasn't had a huge game numbers-wise, just the third disposal for Durden. It was a delicate little kick as this ball came inside forward 50, so finally they get some centre square bounce. Results. Cripps working from that centre square bounce. It's that kick there, just the ability to change it. It's going to be a snap-on goal or an unusual style kick on goal. But then to see Durden out the corner of his eye and manipulate it there was a great touch.
And what else you learned from that as well, Nick, was he tried about 4 different things before he got it. Like a small forward or a big forward. Don't do one effort, don't do 2 efforts. Keep providing a target until you get the ball or you don't get the ball. I reckon he went 4 or 5 little efforts there, and work rate always wins out in that situation.
This game's still well and truly alive.
Since halfway through the first quarter, Dwayne, it's been 25-9 in clearances Adelaide's way. Berry straight into the middle for Adelaide, the sub.
You heard Nankervis subbed out. Oh, lets it roll. Did he take his legs there, Cherry? Right. So both thought it was there free. Chero, the recipient of it.
Was it in the back or something?
Maybe pushed him to the ground. Spearing pass, Mackay, middle of the pack. Hits the back. Akers. Not the required. Not toward the boundary. And is that deliberate? If it's not a contest for a mark, it's deliberate. Because it wasn't a marking contest. And you can't deliberately knock it out of play unless it's a marking contest.
Yeah,
that's the right call.
It might be the right call. It's a tough call, though, Dwayne, because we all know when the ball goes up into the air and over your head, it's a difficult ball to handle, but it's always a... Look, he hit it straight to the boundary line, didn't he?
Crowd think the footy gods had an impact on that. But
I think that was the compound effect of the previous 2, the centre square bounce where it looked like O'Brien got shoved. Another thing was coming that looked like his legs got taken out.
Yeah, that was a strange one, but maybe it was a pushing him back.
Smith takes off. The meters gained king. Back into the lineup this week. O'Brien can't mark it. Akers stumps it. Gets it long. Goal square. Top of the square. Miller.
We just had the free kick in the box that Chero won. He definitely got a push in the back from Isaac Rankin, so the free was there to Carlton.
Zach Taylor. Under the games limit, but over the age limit for the Rising Star. He's 22 years of age. It's his 4th game, 2025. Young swapped it to the boundary, didn't get it there. Tex took them all on.
Doesn't do a lot, Zach Taylor, but what he does well. And got to find a way to get more disposals. Up to 12 disposals today, 75% by foot. That's good.
Riley, Tom, back in this way.
Crowd in full voice. Packed in here at the Adelaide Oval. Edge of the seat staff. Carlton well and truly in this. And Hewitt, is that in the back? Out on the ball. 33 points the margin now. That was the margin at half time. Zach Taylor. Sam Berry. Been in and out for years. High ball coming. Dumps it long. Big fight exploding. Wettering's free.
Good grab.
Yeah.
Good non-grab.
Crows with the numbers on the wing and Cumming takes an easy grab.
Just unorganised by the Blues. It was really well worked up by the Crows. They took field position, then on the way back, just one kick down the line, uncontested mark.
Again, one for the Leapers and Dawson. The thought took it from his grasp.
Skipper's just overruled it.
Well, there was one earlier this quarter on the far side on the flank. But I think it was still thought that spoiled Dawson's attempted mark, and that one he just sort of went to pinch it off you. This has a free run in it though, Root. No body work on Dawson. We saw that long down the line. No body work.
It happens when midfielders around the ground, they just don't jump usually. They go for the crumb, and you can't do that with a guy who jumps like Dawson.
Kicked a fantastic captain's goal on the half-time siren. Kicks out of line here. He's got 3. And the Crows are winning the quarter again.
So that'll really frustrate Michael Voss, Root. Just the inability to understand the situation within the ground, within the game. So the Crows, previous to that passage of play, worked the way from back half all the way to the forward pocket and then turned the ball over. But then as it comes from there, it just gets kicked out. And Root, I know there's multiple plays down there. Dawson is a midfielder. But there's got to be someone. You're on your last line of defence. 2 plays sitting 5 metres on the football just watching.
Yeah, you can see Wiedering and Dawson here. He's saying go back and pick up the ruckman, so that they end up, both of them do nothing. Wiedering's there on his own. He doesn't make too many mistakes, Jacob Wiedering, but he made one there. 3 goals for Dawson.
And a little bit of pickle juice to go with it. 39 points the margin.
Yeah, they've only won 2 second halves for the year. Carlton led against North Melbourne and West Coast Eagles.
Rankin feeds it on. Rochelle got his defender in a blunder and kicked the ripper.
Good to be back in the side. Josh Rochelle broke 3 ribs against GWS earlier on, or it might have been North Melbourne. Tristan Sherry put his knee right into his back. He's been back for a couple of games now, and might have played his best game for the year so far today. He's kicked 2-2, done some centre bounce work as well. Good snap.
That's what good small forwards do. They have a quick glance at the goals, get their bodies organised. Snapped at right angles. This man enjoys a goal. He's in the Tom Papley conversation, isn't he, for
Jack Higgins.
Jack Higgins for enjoying their own work.
45 points the margin. The Blues broke their drought here in Gatherround, their first win of the season. But they are in danger of being demolished in this. Dawson got there late. Rankin time. That'll bend the outside of the boot. They are loving every moment of this.
whiz. That just piled them on. It was game on for half the third quarter. Have a look here, Max Michelani just adding this to his game now. He shuts him down and now he's starting to run off the half-back line as well. Money for jam for Isaac Rankin.
And to know the Crows being one of the best teams to scoring from turnovers. Today, the damage has been done majority through stoppages. They kicked 5 goals, 1 from centre square bounce. They are huge numbers. Just to the Blues, 1 goal, 1. Rankin getting on the scoreboard and join the party.
They had a good win last week, the Blues over Geelong, but Geelong was coming off a short break. No Brian Myers. Their only 2 wins before that were against North and the West Coast. Umpire Hewitt pleads his case, but nearly buried. Heads long. And Dawson was held. This is getting worse by the second for the Blues.
Say this regularly. Forwards, midfielders who go forward, defenders hate it. They panic. They panic and they give away free kicks time after time when good quality midfielders can go forward and stretch them in the air.
Been a fantastic midfielder over time, Jordan Dawson. Spending a bit of time forward in this one. More time than he normally does. And that was a chance for number 4, which would have been a career best. Michael Voss on the boundary. 4th season as Carlton coach. They're outside the 8 right now. They began the day 13th. 3 wins, 4 losses. Lost their first 4 games. We all thought they were back in form.
I think sides are going up and down from week to week, Dwayne.
Siren sounds. And the crowd turn the volume up to 11 here at Adelaide Oval. Super Saturday. Certainly living up to the billing for Adelaide Crow fans. They packed the Adelaide Oval and they're loving it. 52 points to margin with a quarter to play. Adelaide. Let's look at some of the best goals of the game thanks to Coles. Some Coles goals for Captain Fantastic Jordan Dawson. He's scoring like Michael Jordan. 3 goals so far for the game, equals his career best. And the Blues in a 52-point hole with a quarter to play as we head downstairs to Sean Burgoyne.
Thanks, Dwayne. Well, normally it's the forwards and Dawson, Rankin and Fogarty. These guys all getting the love, but I want to highlight Josh Worrell tonight. He's done an outstanding job back there. He's been a brick wall. He's played on the talls and smalls between Harry and Charlie. They've only kicked the 1 goal, 1. He's doing it all. He's doing it all tonight. He's had the 21 disposals, 6 marks, and 8 intercept possessions. He's going by the game. He's coming a real leader back there. You can see him marshalling the troops when the ball's coming down. He's telling him when to press, when to man up. He's air assisting. It's a great game by him so far tonight.
Yeah, good call, Sean. In fact, you've told us a few times, Mark, about his story. He wasn't quite there the first couple of seasons, but he's really grown since then.
He's very green when he got to the club, but he's absolutely blossomed, and Tex Walker highlights that at every opportunity he gets. He was unlucky last year, broke his wrist and missed about 8 to 10 games. Probably would have seen a lot better out of him last year, but this year he's been on fire, probably been the best player the last 2 weeks.
Blues still on the huddle, slow to get to their position as the Crows are almost ready to go. Michael Voss trying to take every moment he can. As we have a look at that, I don't know where the Crows sit, currently in 4th position, 131.2%. They've gone up roughly 7%. They've gone up so far in 3 quarters.
Yeah, disappointing performance last week against Fremantle. They made the scoreboard look a little better than they probably looked for the game late in that game. They lost to Fremantle, but they've been having a fantastic year. Won their first 3 games convincingly, the Adelaide Crows. Came into this having lost 3 of their past 4. And they are a quarter away from a big celebration here in front of close to a full house. Been a fun watch if you're a Crows supporter. And if you're a Blues supporter, you've seen this movie before. Barry, the subs come on and done a brilliant job. Heads long, Phil Thorpe can't get there. Lockie Cowan, the sub for the Blues, is now on. Takes a saving grab.
He's on Isaac Rankin as well, so just took the intercept mark off Isaac.
Fogarty, the man, is out. Keane takes the mark. Lockie Fogarty subbed out of the game. Keane. Laird. Tight ropes the boundary nicely. Pocket. He's free, Rankin. Not sure how he got free, but he was free.
It's been unfortunately a feature of tonight's game from a Blues defensive perspective. Just leaving men free forward of the football.
Well, this is Eddie's pocket. Eddie was a superstar for both these teams. Eddie Betts.
Whole position for a few spectators there.
Yeah. Up close and personal with the man they idolise.
Couldn't kick it from there, could he, Dwayne?
Isaac Rankin. Will he try? Will he go for the top of the square? It's given it a ride, and it's just scraped through for a behind as Tex thought he was about to steal an opportunity to have a crack.
Already the Blues have conceded their highest score of the season. Previous this it was 83.
Mackay hasn't been his night. Miller. Isaac coming.
Jordan Butt's done a good job on Harry Mackay.
He has. First game back for Jordan Butts. First game of the season. Tex from 4 deep. Haynes was held. Carlton 3. Here's the Adelaide Crows, a couple of defenders down. Mitch Hinge couldn't beat the MRO. Tribunal didn't let him off. Nick Murray also not available. They've also lost their major possession getter. Matt Crouch has had more possessions than any other Crow this year, so he's out as well. Other Blues have got a couple out, but it's been a fantastic performance by Adelaide. Cripps, Young's been sent forward. Worrell does it again.
Yeah, he's very brave, Josh Worrell. And top one for that too.
Well, the kick was about a metre short from Patrick Cripps. Just allowed Worrell to have a look at the footy.
Yeah, Corky there in the...
Just sums up his game though, Roo. He's been solid in all areas.
Walsh Worked his way through a couple of them, has the snap. It's across the face, and Worrell waiting for it again. He was in the right spot at the right time. So they've sent Young forward. Hasn't been Harry Mackay's night. A few more nouns and verbs.
Walsh went to bump him and end up falling over, so I think that's what Max was talking about. Everyone advised Sam Walsh, but his teammates might laugh at that one.
Short throw in, Miller, Laird. Floats it wide, Tex and Haynes. Flick from Rankin was amazing. That looked high. Ollie Holland's ball.
Keys has had a couple of spooky moments today.
Pass to the middle. Cowan scooped it up nicely, but the handball wasn't equal to it. Paddled away by Doherty, couldn't get it. Neil Bullen with the shrug, that got to be ball. He shrugged and tried to get away with it. White with the poke pass. Hoping for Young, and he gets a free. First thing that's gone against Worrell all night.
With an ugly start, the quarter.
So Lewis Young just kicked the 6 career goals.
He's got 3 this year. So he's been pinch hitting back and forward. Gets a few boos. And the 19th man having an impact.
He just fell off his kick there. You just got to, when you're kicking for goal, got to keep the body straight.
Miller. Straight down the spine. Walker got up. Berry with the crumb. Worked his way past Cripps. Cripps has left at his favourite trail. Gave it to Rankin. Who does he want to the pocket? Phil Thorpe. Compound dislocation of his finger last week. He got it strapped up and came back on. He's a tough unit, Riley Phil Thorpe.
Have a look at his left hand there. 3 different dislocated fingers so far this year. Might be a candidate to look like Knuckles Curly when he's about 50.
Nice reference. And Phil Seeker slots it on cue.
Well, he joins the party, goal number 20 for the year, and he's still using that hand or the opposite hand to high five. Only 1 finger strapped on the right, 3 on the left. But Berry's come on and had a couple of great moments. It's the speed, the front and centre, maybe burn a couple of teammates. This is what the Crows have done really well at their best this year. Go with speed. They've always got options for the football representing. And on that occasion, they also had Rochelle in the goal square. Phil Thorpe said, no, I need to have a turn.
You're right about Sam Berry. He's been in and out. Second game of 2025. Played his way back in through the sandful. Been on the list since 2021 was his first season, but there's 4 games in 2023, 18 in 2024. On track maybe to keep his spot in this team. He's come on as the sub in this one. Walsh feeds it on. They just haven't had their forward entries go to plan. Keane still taking it on. They can smell some blood here, Adelaide. Keane spears it wide, too wide for Neil Bullen.
Well, the hard thing with the modern game having the sub in it, Dwayno, you either become a player or become the super sub.
Yes.
So Berry might get stuck in that position if he does it too well when he comes on.
And Curvis, the man has been subbed out. Walsh half held by Rankin, then hassled out of it. Hewitt. 2 weeks. Michael Annie coming. What a pickup he's been. Dangerous, but Laird holds his ground. Miller made him earn it. Miller gets it back. His season was over after just 3 games last year with that patella tendon injury, but he's having a good year as well. Michael Annie, Curtin, Shelley, caught and dropped it. Ollie Hollands wins a free. Saab. Took the step. Hewitt. Hunted down. Pressurised with the kick. But Holland's equal to it. Shoot kick from Ollie. Made it impossible. Young. Not the required. Didn't have a left. Had to go with the right on the outside. Elijah.
Mark's here. It's Rich. Mark's there. Richard's there.
Right a day for Elijah. 10 possessions after 25 against Geelong last week. One of his best ever games. Second best game of his career according to champion data last week. Chance for the Lippers. Curno's down there. De Koning's down there. Thump through defensively from behind.
Have you seen the ruck duel, Nick, between O'Brien and De Koning? O'Brien's had the 30-odd hit-outs, De Koning 15. De Koning's only taken 1 mark. O'Brien's taken none.
They've both fought hard, haven't they? O'Brien's only had the 6 touches. De Koning's had 15. But when you put it all together in regards to clearances, you've got to say that it's O'Brien. They're plus 11 in that particular space, and he's been a big part of that.
Rochelle to Fogarty. He was dropped for a game last year, Rolly O'Brien.
Dropped for 2.
Yeah. You don't know what you got till it's gone. I think that struggle would have been without him.
It's also the workload piece off the back of that, Dwayno. They just take a battery, and then it puts a lot of responsibility on 1 or 2 other people that may not be their preferred position.
Hearts. Keys. Just picking their way through them with ease. Taylor.
He cops a lot of flack, Riley O'Brien, but he is an absolute workhorse.
We're watching him closely tonight, Root. Clearly, De Koning's ability to get around the ground and join in as that extra midfielder is his greatest strength, but it hasn't been through lack of desire, O'Brien, chasing him all day or all night.
He hands it off to Tex, and the umpire doesn't allow it. Give it back. Okay. Look at yourself, Zach.
Probably will.
Right on 50. Phil Thorpe coming hard. Not quite. Elijah Holland stripped of it. Walsh. He could have run it through. Dangerous spot to kick it to him. Michael Addy. Just another of the crowd favourites in this Adelaide Crows lineup.
I know, he got his first goal a couple of weeks ago in his career, didn't he? I think.
That is correct.
53 games, 1 goal.
You'll be thinking about it too much now.
Yeah, that was on the run.
Two in a year's a bit too much.
That'll work its way back a little. Not enough.
Get back to the back line.
Yep, the Walker shape all the way back.
McGovern again, indecisive with the kick-in. Oh, they're just not on the same page with the kick-ins. Barry. Neil Bullen. Miller. Michaelani. Lace out with a ribbon on it to Fogarty.
Well, they're getting what they deserve here. McGovern's far too experienced and too good a player to do that not once but multiple times this evening. If you're in doubt, you're taking your longest option forward of the football. And Fogarty just ducks back up at the football, little tick lead, and no one can go with him and no one can cut off the lead.
1-1 today. 17-4 for the year. He doesn't miss 2 in a row. The Fog.
Well, they've lost 3 games in a row to Adelaide and Adelaide Oval by an average margin of 47 points. That's a stinking kick out from Mitch McGovern. He's done a few today, unfortunately. He won't be happy. He's just looked indecisive coming out of the back line. Dwayne, he picked it up a few times. And if you're going to do that, you're going to give Adelaide forwards too much use of the ball.
Still 10 minutes to play. Fogarty's kicked 2, Phil Thornton's kicked 1, and Tex has only got the 1 as well. So the big 3 have kicked 4 in total. Well, they've kicked 15 as a whole. It's been a great contribution from everybody.
6 multiple goal kickers, Adelaide.
Yeah, great points. And they've kicked the last 5 goals of the game, Adelaide.
And that fade out in the second half continues, unfortunately, for Michael Voss and his men.
Yeah. Walsh had it. Taylor got it. Ollie Holland's got him.
Talking about Adelaide's goal kickers, only 1 goal between Mackay and Curnow as well, which is not what they needed coming into the contest.
Mackay sent into the ruck.
It's all started in the midfield. They've been smacked. Clearances, contested footy. The Blues have been one of the best teams in the last month in contested footy, or not tonight.
It's been 31-14 in clearances since halfway through the first quarter.
Tex tried to push off. He's dragged down. That's got to be gone, you'd think.
It's been the only thing that hasn't gone well is a few of those don't argue. Tex puts the arm out, but the legs don't go anywhere, so he's still in the same spot.
McGovern again throws his arms out to say, well, what am I supposed to do here?
That might be half the problem, Dwayne.
Michael Addy hands it back. Berry inside. Saligo. Who he plays on but took that half step again. Umpire says not enough.
It's their
Before you play on.
So, Dwayne, it's their 19th mark inside forward 50. And of that, 14 have been uncontested. It's just been too much space given to not even the forwards, just the mids or anyone that wanders forward from a Crows perspective. No one has played on them.
Just scrapes in for a score. 10 goals plus the margin right now. It's been a demolition. The Blues began the day 13th. There'll be 3 wins and 5 losses tonight.
And then they roll out next Friday night. They've got the Saints back at the MCG. They were impressive last night. So it's another huge game for both clubs.
Adelaide has only got a little game next week, Dwayne.
Just a showdown next week, Rube?
Just a Saturday night showdown. Port off a loss, they'll be hungry.
Yeah. Port home game, is it, Rube?
Sure is.
Keane put out top of his boot. Great commitment from both players. Smith came up with it. So for Carlton, they've got 3 more games until their bye. St Kilda, Sydney at the SCG, and then the Giants at Marvel, and then a bye. Adelaide's bye is not until round 15, but it's not a bad spot to have your bye.
If you can get there, right, it's good. But if you're struggling to get there, it feels like a marathon.
They've got one of the later buys of all the teams, Adelaide.
Had that last year as well when they had a heap of injuries.
Yeah, a couple of really tough games to come for Adelaide. Port Adelaide showdown next week, and then Collingwood at the MCG. You could argue that it doesn't get any tougher than those two for the Crows. Showdown and the almighty Magpies at their home deck. Rankin in full flight, takes them on, shrugs them. Again, they're in his chemtrail. Hands it off to Peedling, sends it inside 50 to the fog. Can't get up there, hits the deck. Neil Pullen knew what he wanted to do.
He's had a good game, Isaac Rankin. That's disposal number 27. He's had 4 clearances, and once again he comes out the front. And forces that defensive winger to come forward and tries to get tackle, which is near on impossible. So enjoyable to watch.
It is deafening in here at the moment. Cripps hassled off it. Tex thought he had it. Berry. Ollie Hollands.
Last month, Carlton have won contested ball by an average of plus 23. Today, they're down by 22 against Adelaide. It's the 3rd worst performance under Voss's coaching tenure.
In the spill. Carroll feeds it wide. Doherty under pressure. Smith gets up there. He's found a bit of his old magic, and he blasts it long, goal square. Fogarty gets up there, hits the deck. Little fumble from Carroll. Haynes, Sard, Wiedering. Oh, boy.
He's a bit angry and frustrated Wiedering, so's Michael Voss, quite rightly so. There's a lot of nervous Crow supporters before this game today, after Carlton's performance last week and Adelaide's performance last week.
Touched Cripps. Elijah Hollins. Kerno. Hasn't been a big night in the office for Charlie.
Adelaide's defence has been under question this year, quite rightly so. They've had some big scores kicked against them, but pretty good result tonight with Carlton so far kicking 5 goals, 8.
Sean posed the question before the game, offense versus defence. Well, it's both, but they've both been on the Adelaide side of the football. Their defence has been superb. Just the 32 inside 50s against.
Yeah, without Hinge and without Murray, who would normally be in this lineup.
We touched on Butts coming in.
Keys.
Yeah. G. Wiedering's been good.
He's always good. Jacob Wiedering, play his 200th later this year. A wave.
It was banned, wasn't it?
Was it? How can you ban the wave? Well, you've got to kick them all out.
Well, no, but there's a lot of beer getting spilled with the wave over the years.
That's your biggest
That's probably good for business.
Look at that. And you're all out. Hewitt, decoding. Dangerous central kick. He's been brilliant again, Curtin. Game 15. Berry. He's due for a Rising Star nomination, Daniel Curtin. They're pick 8 from 2023. Laird. Skips possessions for fun.
Is Worrell in All-Australian form?
I thought about call. Long to the pocket. Well, Tex was blocked. He claims he was. Haynes took the mark.
Well, where the safe answer is he's in the squad.
Squad of what?
Squad of 40 that has 80 in it.
Elijah Hollins. Down the spine to Motlop. Got it long enough. Feeds it on. Ollie Hollins. Chera. Mackay feeds back. Keane engages early. He was pretty clever with that.
That's better. That's the way to suddenly take it over the line. He's been brave tonight, Keane. It was one of the concerns coming into the game. Were they a little bit undersized in defence against the big boys of the Blues forward line? Well, the very first inside 50 was an intercept mark from Keane. He's been able to hold his own.
Yeah, him and Butts have been clear winners.
Chera bangs it around his body, didn't get enough bend on it. It's a floater at Kerno, held it long enough. See if they fight this out. The Blues will put up the white flag. It's been tough for them in this last quarter. They've known really that they can't win it. And when you know, you know. Kerno gets himself a consolation prize.
That's 2 for Kerno, none for Mackay. All their stars were in form last week. That's what would have been making everyone at Adelaide nervous. When your guns are on fire, usually any side is hard to beat. And they're going to need to be on fire. What have they got? St Kilda, who were pretty good last night against a disappointing Freo. Sydney, well, they're battling at the moment. GWS, usually hard to beat, but they've been down a little bit as well. They're all winnable games for Carlton if they're somewhere near their best.
Kerno's made his way to the centre square bounce.
Next Saturday night. You reckon it's rocking in here now? Six and six indiscretion from the Blues. And O'Brien just blasts it forward. Fogarty pushed out, no free. Down the back, caught. Saab. Bang! Thought wrapped him. They've been roaring for a good quarter and a half, the Crow fans. 4 minutes away from a massive roar. Not one has left their seat. Ollie Hollins in game 50. Eye contact.
So we've seen some teams this year with the ability to respond, and I mean, there's been some huge fluctuations in performance. We'll need to see that from the Blues as they get ready on a 6-day turnaround.
Well, hard part is they're fighting from lower on the ladder after losing their first 4 games. You're always playing catch-up. And if you lose a couple of players to injury, Silvani and Williams, Chera.
I think that Silvani loss is bigger than we probably gave it credit for during the week, Duano.
Yeah, absolutely. Dawson, been everywhere. Been amazing forward. It's been awesome. Midfield, it's been awesome. It's like Kempy sauce. It's good wherever.
He's taking it easy in the last quarter, but he was the best player on the ground when it needed to. There to be won.
Miller.
He's been good too.
Keen. Messing with him now. It's going to be hard to kick him out. Down the line he travels. Held his ground, Zach Taylor.
Nick Murray won't be coming back, Dwayne, for at least a month, so probably got a role to play. Probably a bit of spice in the showdown after the last one when Rankin got knocked out.
Yeah. Houston not playing, of course, but there's always spice.
I'll find someone else to pick on.
Yeah, it's one of the most watchable games of the season, always the showdown. Prime time building next Saturday night. Can't wait to bring that one to you. Fogarty. Almost brought the showdown specialist back in. Brodie Smith this week, back into the lineup. Enjoy being back out there again. One of those warriors who's played in so many of them now. Chera, wide to Charlie. Chips it wide. Just the 3 showdown medals for you, Rob? Or am I one short?
Just the 3, but they are picking, I think, the first 6 that weren't given medals over the rest of this year. So, Dwayne, if you can do your best to see if you can find me another one.
Well, you've got to convince Michelangelo Ricci, I think, might be on the panel as well.
I'll give up then if that's the case. I just saw him in the toilet. Could have been a different trip.
The sort of man hasn't been able to find a phone box tonight, Patrick Cripps. Gets the booze. Yeah. That'll work.
Good hit. Set for 25 touches, the skipper. Couple of goals. 5 clearances, so his numbers look good. Just been left a bit lonely in that midfield. He's been overwhelmed by the collective. That's a good grab. King just coming over the top. Probably the first time that, maybe the second time that Rob's lost a one-on-one. Well, you're against a very handy player. That's a good finish by the skipper. So you look at the Blues we've got 47 seconds to go about what needs to improve, what needs to instantly change. It's the pressure on the football, their ability to control stoppages, particularly the centre square bounce where they've got beaten comfortably again tonight. Michael Voss has got a lot of work to do in 6 days before they face the Saints.
A few of their more valued commodities on the bench down for the Blues. Charlie Curnow, Cripps, Akers both there. Rankin still out there for the Crows. Maybe they've got one left. Taylor hands it up to Keys. This might go all the way. Gets a bounce. Taken through by Carroll. Carroll ready to erupt there.
Kick those, it's okay to ignore all the leading thoughts, but if you don't, do they stare at you?
To Young.
That's when you turn your head, Room, and you never saw it.
Exactly what Ben Keith did.
Both teams with the 30-second signs up on the bench to let their players know how long left. One last roll of the dice here for the Crows. Inside handoff with a 1-2. Smith, he deserves one. Welcome back. Smith.
Well, they absolutely love Brodie Smith. He's been in and out of the side for a while, but he's been there through the rebuild. He's helped build this list. 263 games. His great mate Rory Laird had a big smile on the bench when he put that one through, but have a look at him go to him. That's good. That's what footy's all about, isn't it? Some of the Crow supporters weren't happy he got a game this week. They wanted one of the young boys to come in, but he's been the best performing SANFL player on the half-back flank. He's got plenty of leadership, still got his speed, and always had the skill, and still got plenty to offer this Adelaide team.
The timekeeper did us a favour as well. Brodie Smith kicked that as the siren was about to sound to end this one. Listen to this roar. The Crows are flying. Top four and maybe on track to play finals for the first time under Matthew Nix.
Well, defensively, they were one of the better teams in the comp. They only average about 72 points a game. So you've been able to put 110 on them. You must be happy with the offense.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, our offense comes off the back of our contest. I think last week we didn't really fire a shot with our ball movement because our contest wasn't there. So they go hand in hand. We're able to use each other, use the ball around the contest, and then get some cleaner entries. So we've got a pretty potent forward line, so it's nice to get a ball to those big boys.
I just want to get your thoughts on Josh the Brick Worrell. He's a big wall down there, isn't he? Inset marks, he's taking his game to a new level. What's your thoughts on what he's bringing to the table?
He's been bubbling away nicely for a couple of years. When I first came to the club, I feel like he was very similar to me. He didn't really crack in first few years and was able to bide his time in the twos, and he's going strength to strength. I think he can speak for himself, but I think his offense comes off the back of his good defence, and he's got all the attributes. So he's playing some super footy, so I like playing alongside the big fella.
When you hear the skipper speak like that, mate, it must make you smile.
Yeah, it makes you smile. I think Dawes took me under his wing early on, which has been really good for me. He's been big for me in the last couple of years, probably getting my professionalism to another level. So thanks to the big skip. That's good.
The connection between you, Butts, Keane, and Murray, who's gone out, just talk us through that, because the three tools seem to be working really well down there in defence.
Yeah, I think we've got a good balance of offense and defence at the moment. We're not half. Keeney's been. I played a lot of footy with Keeney. I played a lot of footy with Mars and Butsy over the years. So I think it's finally come together, which is really nice.
Who do you pick up from the showdown?
I'm not sure. I'll leave that to Mama.
Yourself, big game within the showdown next week. What are you going to be expecting? The last game you played was really fiery. Do you just put that away, or do you reference it?
Not really, mate. I think there's obviously a bit of a rivalry there, and no matter where either team is on the lineup, it's always a good contest. So we know it starts from that. They've obviously got some gun players, especially in the midfield. So yeah, it'll be a good game, and not really looking too far ahead yet, but yeah, it's always a good contest over the field.
Congrats on the win, guys. Go enjoy it.
This is Super Saturday Live on Fox, brought to you by the all-electric Toyota BZ4X. David King, Jack Rewald, Jay Clark. We've seen some big margins this weekend. That's another one. Adelaide defeating Carlton by 60 points to move to 5-3, and they're into the top 4 as we speak tonight. What a brilliant win by the Crows, featuring some serious highlights as well, Kingy.
Unbelievable. In the forward half, they look tremendous. He got talent everywhere, and he's stacking them. He's stacking the assets. He went on a treasure hunt tonight, Matty Nix, and he found a new full forward. The big boy, Jordan Dawson.
Well, you might have found a forward there. From a defensive point of view for Adelaide, I think this is their most complete game defensive. They kept the Giants a few weeks ago at only 34 points, but tonight they've done a number on Carlton, and it's been the first time for a while that Adelaide have been able to get their offence going as well. They've been in a little bit of a slump, but they have ticked off offence and defence tonight, and if they are to remain in the top 4 and be a challenger this year, that is something they need to continue to nail.
I tell you what, fellas, Michael Voss is Matthew Nix's buddy. Voss, as Carlton coach, has not beaten Matthew Nix in the coach's box since 2022. It is 4-0 Matthew Nix. Now, Adelaide hasn't played finals in that time. Now, that is a comprehensive domination from the coach's box from Matthew Nix. That's a frustrating performance from Carlton. Let's be honest, following this football club is the biggest roller coaster ride in football. They come off 3 straight, beat Geelong last week, and get served an absolute smashing. And you know what? Coming into this week, there's going to be a big spotlight on this football club. It's the Tom de Koning Cup. They play St Kilda on Friday night at the MCG. Get prepared for days and days of headlines of stuff about Tom de Koning.
But let's celebrate the winners at the moment, and it is Adelaide Crows. Crows fans will just be absolutely loving this victory today. 60 points over the Blues. And as you mentioned, the discovery of Jordan Dawson and what he can do up forward today is going to be one of the stories emerging from this game. And he's just got more and more dangerous, hasn't he?
Well, we haven't seen them use him in this role before. And we've been talking about him as a centre-bounce midfielder, getting enough bang for buck, because those surge kicks from traffic really don't pay the bills in modern footy. I've had a look at the forward 50 target stuff throughout the course of the season. He's been targeted half a dozen times in 7 rounds of footy. Today, he gets 4 genuine looks at it. He takes 3 marks inside 50. And it's just another little asset, another little toy that Matty Nix can play with. Rochelle, Rankin, Walker, Thilthorpe, and now Dawson. It's getting hard to match up against these guys, Jack.
Yeah, and he's still doing it where they need him as well. That's in the middle of the ground. They've paired him off with 6 clearances today, so himself and Rankin have had 11 between them. I'm looking at maybe the new general of the back line for Adelaide. That's Max Michael, he's only played 50 games, but he just looks at home. The way he played today, he's got the intercept game, he's got the offensive game, found plenty of the ball. He's actually structuring them up nicely. He's got sort of got the Tom Stewart, Nick Gloston mold that I think's certainly critical to a defence.
So here come the Crows down into their victorious change rooms, 60 points over the Blues. How much time would you spend with Jordan Dawson up forward now, do you think, moving forward?
Oh, mad not to look at it. I mean, mad when you see Rochelle going in at centre bounces, Rankin's in there a fair bit. I just love what they're doing, experimenting at the time when you should.
It's a great call, and you've been pushing for it, Kingy. What about the big picture? Adelaide, how far can the Crows go? They're a quality side. You said they're stacking the wins. Are they a chance to win it? It's that kind of year.
Yeah, I think this is their best performance for the season in terms of offense and defense. The more of this they roll out, the more likely they are going to be there. They have got the offensive weapons. We've known that for a long period of time. It's the defensive side of the game. If they can get that right, they are going to be right there come September.
A lot revolves around those 5 digits on his left hand there, Riley Thilthorpe. Can they hang together for the last 20 weeks, Kath? Who knows?
We've got our fingers crossed for it, Kingy. Here we go, Crows fans. Enjoy this one.
All right, folks, there you go. It's Adelaide by 10 goals, 16-14, 1-10, defeating Carlton 7-8-50. Carlton had no answers for this, well, this electrifying unit called Adelaide Crows. They were just fantastic. Adelaide putting on 3 goals, 4 in that final term. 2 goals, 2 to Carlton in the final term. They just couldn't match it anywhere around the ground. They do look impressive. And, of course, I think Adelaide jump up onto 4th on the ladder from 6. Let me try and see if this is loaded up for you. There we go. Adelaide jump up to 4th position. Played 8 now, 5 wins, 3 losses, sitting on 20 points, 131.8 their percentage. That certainly boosted their percentage up nicely. They go above the Western Bulldogs and only 1 game off the league ladders. Collingwood and Brisbane there. For Carlton, wow, down to 13th. There we go, down to 13th. They're a game outside of the top 8 and percentage. On that, they're going to be looking a little bit troubled in the coming weeks, but we will have to wait and see. Just having a look at the goal scorers, wrapping this up before we get over to the next game, which is Collingwood taking on the Geelong Cats. It should be a fantastic game. For Adelaide Crows, the goal scorers, Jordan Dawson best with 3, Ranky, Rochelle, Neil Bullen all with 2 with Fogarty. Of course, Tex Taylor, Walker, Riley Thilthorpe, Brody Smith, all singles for Carlton. Corey Durden, Charlie Curnow, Paddy Cripps, all with 2. Jesse Motlop, the other single goal scorer. Disposal getters out on the ground today. No one hit the 30 mark today, but Isaac Ranky, he topped the table there for Adelaide. He was pretty good today with 29, 17 kicks, 12 handballs, 9 marks, a tackle, 5 clearances, 2 goal, 2. Fantastic game there from him. Next best was Wayne Miller and McIlerney, both on 27 for the Crows. For the Blues, George Hewitt topped the table for them with 25. And Paddy Cripps, well, the lone midfielder that shone tonight with 24, 5 clearances and 2 goals. He was good, as always was Paddy Cripps. He's just rolled down the table. Josh Rochelle, as I said, 2 goals, 2 from his 14 kicks there. We'll just roll down. Tom DeConey, well, he didn't do much tonight, even though he had 17 touches, 16 hit-outs. Not a great deal. Tex Walk always presented well. 15 touches, 6 kicks, 9 kicks, 6 handballs, 5 marks, 1 goal, 1. Charlie Curnow, well, spits and spats, he was there. Nothing much to write home about Charlie Curnow tonight, although he kicked 2 goals, 1, pretty soft. If he's 13 touches, 12 kicks. All right, there are your player stats. Let's head on over to the team stats. And, of course, Adelaide there by around about 70 in disposal count. 30 in the kicks, about 40 in the handballs. Inside 50s, well, that tells a tale for Carlton, doesn't it? 36 inside 50s. That is deplorable for a full game of footy. 58 to Adelaide. Gave themselves plenty of opportunity. Disposal efficiency 80% for Adelaide. That is absolutely brilliant. 80%. That's super high. Efficiency inside 50, not too bad there. Also for Adelaide on the season average. Of course, Carlton below. Free kicks. Well, the away team got the benefit of the doubt tonight. 24-20. Carlton more free kicks. The hit-outs, though, dominated by Adelaide. Wow, by 26, more than doubled Carlton. Plus 8 in the clearance, plus 10 in the centre clearance. Big numbers there for Adelaide Crows, 16-6. Contested possessions, let's head on down there, of course. Only 17 the difference, so not a great deal there, but uncontested, 60. Carlton. That's a different Carlton than we saw last week, folks, when they trounced Geelong, that is for sure. Marks, Adelaide, well and truly on top there by 26. Marks inside 50, 20-6. Wow, Adelaide certainly found their space. Their forwards work for them. And, of course, finding their targets nicely. That's a lot of shots on goal. 20 is fantastic. Contested mark, Adelaide stronger as well. Just a tackle count. Well, Adelaide had the ball more. Carlton had to tackle, didn't they? So 47 plus 12 there to the Blue Baggers. Tackles inside 50. Pretty much both the same, 7-6. But that is this game. I tell you what, I'm not sure what's going on with some of the footy, folks. We've had some big shellackings lately. And of course, this is just another one of those shellackings. Of course, the other game today we saw, well, if you have a look, we've only had one close game this round. That was Essendon when they defeated North Melbourne by 3 points. The other one went St Kilda, 60-point winners over Fremantle. Western Bulldogs earlier on today, they had 90-point winners over Port Adelaide. And of course, 60-point winners to Adelaide over Carlton. Next game up we've got, folks, of course, that is Collingwood taking on Geelong in around about half an hour's time. So if you want to tune into that, come back to the channel. We'll be live then, and we'll be doing the coverage of the Collingwood-Geelong game then. Of course, being a Collingwood fan, I'm just hoping that Collingwood can do the same and have that big margin, that big win again. Should be fantastic. All right, folks, that's all I got for this game. And we did get the poll right. 94% tipped the Adelaide Crows in the live chat today. Fantastic. Well done to everyone in the live chat. You got it right again. I tell you what, we're pretty cluey in the live chat. There we go. Let's hope you all tip the Maggies in the next one. All right, folks, that's it. That's all I've got for this one. Thanks very much for joining us on this coverage. Ciao for now, and we'll see you at the next game.